Hello guys, welcome to the fiction series. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was trained by Master Roshi? Part 1. Huge shout out to Quasorix for this story. If you want more awesome fan fiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. It's too late now. Sasuke shouted. He had Naruto by his collar with both his hands before chucking him into the air ahead. Naruto. The Uchiha then jumped ahead before latching onto Naruto, who was currently falling downwards with his body upside down. Positioning his opponent into a pillared river, Sasuke wrapped his arms around Naruto's stomach while cross-locking his legs around the Uzumaki's neck and let gravity take care of the rest, driving Naruto's head far below them on the ground. Naruto had yellow blonde, spiky hair and blue eyes. He had 3 whisker markings on his cheeks. He wore an orange and blue jacket with a white collar, a white swirl with a tassel on the left side, and a red Uzumaki crest on the back. He also wore orange pants with a shuriken holster on his right knee, blue sandals, and a blue forehead protector. However, right now he had cupid eyes, red fox-like eyes. Whereas Sasuke has black eyes and spiky hair with a blue tint. His clothing consisted of a navy blue short-sleeved shirt with a high collar, white shorts. He also wore a blue-clothed forehead protector. However, during this battle, Sasuke currently had his Sharingan activated, which consisted of 3 tomos in it and a red pupil. The ground ended up breaking a bit, causing debris of rocks to scatter away from the point of contact. Naruto's head was driven straight onto the ground, right near the edge of a lake present in the battlefield. The sheer impact itself caused ripples of water to form from the edge of the lake, spreading far ahead into the water body. Naruto's head twitched several times before his body fell into the lake, his back floating on the surface. His body began to slowly drift away backwards. Sasuke got up to his feet, turned around, and took a few steps forward before collapsing on his knees and hands. He began to cough roughly a bit before gasping for air. The 2 fierce ninjas were currently fighting in the Valley of the End, a place with 2 large statues across each other, a waterfall, and a lake. The 2 ninjas had been at it for a while now. Sasuke had decided to cut ties with the Leaf Village and go to Orochimaru in order to receive power and get stronger. Thanks to the legendary Sannin, Sasuke had obtained the curse mark, which had increased his strength and power. Whereas Naruto was trying his level best to retrieve his best friend back. However, things were currently not looking good for the blonde ninja, as his body continued to slowly drift away before eventually coming to a stop. Upon his body floating in a singular place in the lake, a few more ripples spread around him. Inside Naruto's subconscious QB's chamber. Naruto was now floating in a large basement. He was still floating on the water, but the water wasn't the same lake from before. The basement's floor was filled with water, causing Naruto to float on the surface even in his subconsciousness. His legs were sunk in the water a bit and his hands were above his head with some distance in between them. His upper limbs were also a bit deep in the water. His eyes were slightly open, his pupils rolled back a bit near the back of his skull. It looked like Naruto had passed out. To his right was a ginormous jail cell that looked large enough to contain a monster the size of a tall building. Behind the jail was the 9-tailed demon fox, staring at Naruto with fury in his eyes. "You're weak, aren't you, kid?" The demon fox chuckled menacingly. "You better be grateful to me and to the 4th Hokage who contained me within the likes of you." Back in reality Valley of the End, Naruto vs Sasuke. Once Sasuke caught his breath, he stood up and contemplated for a moment on his actions. He felt slightly bad for what he did to Naruto. However, in order to get power and revenge on his brother, Itachi Uchiha, he had to cut ties with the Leaf. The Uchiha turned around and saw Naruto's body floating on the lake. However, something was different this time. The red chakra bubble cloak began to form around Naruto's body, starting from his back and spreading around before reaching the front of his body as well. Sasuke decided to walk towards Naruto to find out what the hell was going on. Using his chakra, he was able to walk on the water surface easily. Once he got close to Naruto, his jaw fell down a bit. What's going on? Once the shroud of red chakra bubbles completely surrounded Naruto, with the exception of his head, the powerful chakra, which seemingly had a mind of its own, lifted upwards, pulling Naruto along with it and made the Uzumaki stand on the water. Sasuke widened his eyes in shock as he watched Naruto's body getting lifted to an upright position. However, Naruto's neck was still bent backwards, like the red chakra didn't bother to straighten his head. Suddenly, Naruto's head snapped forward and he delivered a ferocious and swift punch onto Sasuke's face, sending the Uchiha flying backwards into multiple somersaults before falling near the edge of the river. Naruto's eyes were red and fox-like, his nails were sharp, his teeth had sharpened as well. Sasuke held his face and wriggled around on the edge of the river in agony, groaning in excruciating pain while lying down on the right side of his body. Naruto groaned in pain as well, as the demon fox's chakra cloak surrounded his head, thus covering his entire body. The Uzumaki roared for a moment before dropping on his hands and feet on the surface of the lake. Using his chakra, he was able to stand on the surface of the lake on all fours. His battle stance was now like a fox. Naruto's hands upon making contact on the surface caused it to heavily steam up. There was also a chakra fox tail behind Naruto, along with 2 chakra horns on top of his head that were pretty long. Naruto glared at Sasuke, who had managed to get up on his knees on the surface of the water. Using his chakra, Sasuke was able to stand on the water surface using his knees. The Uchiha stood up and rubbed his stinging nose to soothe out the pain, before finally letting his hands down. He had a good look at what Naruto had just become. Before he could react, Naruto crossed his arms together before lashing them out sideways. The mere action of that caused a curved-shaped shockwave that directed itself towards the Uchiha. As the shockwave zoomed towards Sasuke, water waves began to form below it. Sasuke crossed his arms to block the incoming shockwave. However, the waves below the shockwave grew in height, washing over the Uchiha and temporarily blinding him in the process. The young Avenger could feel the effects of the shockwave. However, by the time he opened his eyes, Naruto had suddenly appeared in front of him with remarkable speed. The Uzumaki slashed his hand toward Sasuke, whacking him away in the process and sending his body flying like a ragdoll. Sasuke was tumbling multiple times backwards in the air and water. However, he quickly tried to regain his momentum by shooting out his leg behind him on the water, causing water to erupt a bit from the point of contact and thus slowing his fall. The young Avenger's foot touched something wooden and quickly stood upright on top of a wooden log facing vertically. As the wooden log bobbed up and down vertically into the raging wave of water current due to Naruto's shockwave from earlier, Sasuke stared at Naruto with caution and thought to himself, what was it just now? Even if I'm able to read Naruto's moves completely, his chakra makes a separate move on its own. It seems like the chakra is moving in accordance with its own will. Even with my eyes, I'm unable to read it completely. That red chakra, that's not any ordinary chakra. That's when Sasuke suddenly began to remember something Jiraiya, another legendary Sannin, had said in the past. Flashback begins. Your target is Naruto, after all, Jiraiya said with a serious look on his face, eyeing a certain man in front of him. Itachi stared at Jiraiya with his Sharingan. To abduct Naruto is our #1 priority placed by our organization, the Akatsuki. Flashback ends. I see Sasuke gritted his teeth. It appears that you have some sort of special power. Now I understand. Sasuke jumped from the top of the log he was standing on and hopped from rock to rock. There were a few large rocks present in the river and the Uchiha used his acrobatics to hop off the rocks easily. Meanwhile, Naruto charged toward Sasuke whilst running on all fours on the surface of the water with incredible speed. Sasuke performed a couple of hand signs whilst doing parkour on the rocks before firing multiple medium-sized fireballs towards Naruto. However, it was of no use as Naruto managed to dodge every single attack and he turned to his left before charging towards Sasuke. Sasuke performed another series of hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. He puffed his chest and mouth and bent his body backwards a bit. He then bent forwards and blew a giant fireball out of his mouth. The giant fireball headed straight towards Naruto, who was still running on all fours. It was not long before the fireball hit Naruto dead on, causing a large cloud of steam to spread around rise up into the air from the point of contact. Sasuke thought he had gotten his opponent. However, once the steam cleared off few seconds after the impact, he saw Naruto standing on 2 legs, completely unharmed. That chakra of his is protecting him. Sasuke regained his composure and thought to himself. Calm down, I won't be caught as long as I fight from a distance. Naruto slowly raised his left arm upwards before lashing it forward. Suddenly, a giant red chakra hand protruded out from his left hand, extending and reaching towards Sasuke. What? Sasuke was shocked. He quickly jumped upwards, dodging the incoming attack. However, it did not end there, as the hand followed him even in midair. Sasuke moved and dodged Naruto's chakra hand in midair before landing back on the water surface below him. Suddenly, circles of water waves formed around him with a distance of roughly 10 feet away from the center, causing some sort of semi-water tornado to surround the Uchiha. Naruto's chakra hand burst through the water wall surrounding Sasuke. However, thanks to his advanced 3-Tomo Sharingan, he was able to continue to dodge his attacks by sidestepping, dodging, jumping away, and so on. Since the top of the water tornado had an empty gap, Sasuke quickly jumped up into the air, escaping from the vertical vortex, before landing away from it on the water surface. However, Naruto wasn't done yet. The Jinchuriki jumped backwards and latched his chakra tail onto a steep rock attached to a rocky wall behind him. He then used his tail to pull his body up towards the wall. Naruto stood on the surface of the wall on all fours while still eyeing his opponent in the yonder before using his tail to chuck himself towards the Uchiha. Once he was fast approaching his best friend while in midair, he shot his arm forward, creating a chakra arm that protruded and shot forward around 10 feet in front of Sasuke. At first, Sasuke thought Naruto had missed, but then the chakra hand had merely lunged underwater 10 feet ahead of him. The hand directed itself below where Sasuke was standing on, before successfully grabbing and shooting him high into the air, smashing him into the opposite rocky hill behind him. The sheer impact caused giant rocks and boulders to separate, break, and fall into the water, causing large splashes of water to erupt into the air. The hand had driven Sasuke a bit through the rocky wall, damaging him in the process. The lake's water current continued to spread aggressively due to the intensity of the current battle. Sasuke's body ended up falling into the lake from the broken rocky wall, before being washed away onto the other edge of the lake. His body was face first on the ground. A huge earthquake-like pressure was felt behind Sasuke. The Uchiha slowly turned around and got up on his butt and saw a dome of water rise high into the air, followed by an even more ginormous chakra hand shooting out and towering Sasuke. The Uchiha had decided to turn around and run away, and the chakra hand struck down. Fortunately for Sasuke, he managed to dodge the attack. Sasuke stopped running when he saw a rocky hill wall in front of him and turned around, leaning his back towards it. His hands were near his hip level and were currently touching the wall. The Uchiha couldn't believe what he was witnessing as he collapsed on his butt in shock. Damn it. This is ridiculous. He began to activate his curse mark. A glowing orange mark began to spread across his face and body, the starting point being his left neck where the curse mark originated. All I can do is dodge. The cloud of dust that had formed from the ginormous hand's attack began to slowly dissipate, revealing Naruto standing on all fours with his chakra cloak at the edge of the river. Sasuke was about to get back on his feet when the ground suddenly rumbled. The nine-tailed fox's chakra hand broke through the ground below the Uchiha and caught him in its grasp. Apparently Naruto had dug his chakra hand underground and ripped through till it was below Sasuke. Cracks began to form all the way from Naruto's position to Sasuke, and the chakra hand emerged in the air, tearing through the ground. Naruto yanked his hand backwards, reeling Sasuke towards him, before a ferocious right hook that sent the Uchiha flying and crashing back towards the rocky wall, breaking it even further and causing more debris of large rocks to fall down onto the ground. The Uchiha's body was tossed over like a ragdoll. Once the cloud of dust that had formed earlier due to the impact, Sasuke was shown sitting on his butt with the side of his left elbow on a broken rock beside him. However, there was something different about him now. The curse mark from earlier had surrounded Sasuke, this time being black in color. The young Avenger chuckled menacingly and slowly shifted forward on his knees and hands. I guess it can't be helped. He then looked up at Naruto with gritted teeth. If I get tainted by this power, I wouldn't know what would happen to me in the end. He then stood up to his feet while saying, but it can't be helped, can it, Naruto? The curse mark began to glow orange once again. This time, it began to spread even further, turning his skin dark gray, and his hair grew and turned dark blue. His eyes also turned dark gray with his Sharingan still intact. It is certainly true that you were special, however, I'm even more special than you. With his transformation complete, Sasuke chuckled sinisterly. Naruto gritted his teeth, his eyes seething with rage. By special you meant that. Sasuke cackled, raising his fists near his chest level and clenched them. He glanced at his clenched fists and smirked. I don't feel like I'm going to lose. Naruto charged toward Sasuke while scraping and breaking the ground with his claw, leaving trails of marks behind him. Ha! Sasuke saw the attack incoming and simply smirked as Naruto punched Sasuke, and both shot forward towards a nearby wall, breaking it in the process. The blonde ninja then delivered a right hook that sent Sasuke crashing towards the foot of the Madara statue, which was present in the battlefield they were currently in. However, as soon as the cloud of dust cleared, Naruto saw that his punch was blocked by a large mutated wing-like hand. Apparently, Sasuke grew webbed claw-shaped wings from his back, which he could use to fly and glide. The webbed claw-shaped wing twitched a bit as Naruto widened his eyes and crossed his arms. The claw spread out and hit the Jinchuriki, sending him to the opposite side. He landed on the foot of Hashirama Senju and crashed, which ended up causing damage to the foot of the statue a bit. Naruto staggered upwards and sat on his butt and saw what was ahead of him in shock. Sasuke was squatting on the ground, with his claw-like wing moving to the side. The Uchiha groaned and twitched a bit before another claw-like hand protruded from his other shoulder, tearing and making holes in his upper clothing. The newly emerged claw-like hand spread to the side. His new look almost looked like Jin Kazama devil mode. Sasuke placed his hands on the ground while squatting, whilst Naruto stared at his friend in shock. Sasuke, you. The Uchiha opened his eyes, revealing the Sharingan. The look Sasuke gave Naruto reminded the latter about Orochimaru. Suddenly, Sasuke widened his eyes and groaned in pain. He gritted his teeth and remembered how one of the Sound 4 members had informed him that overuse of the curse mark would eat his chakra away and ultimately, he would lose himself forever. This body, it looks like there's no time to waste, Sasuke thought to himself while narrowing his eyes at Naruto. The Jinchuriki got up to his feet and stared at his left arm. I don't feel my left arm. That power you have, Sasuke began, as Naruto now turned his attention towards his rival. Sasuke continued with a smirk, seems to involve some risks too, huh? He closed his eyes for a moment before reopening them and looking at the statue behind Naruto. Did you know that this place is called the Final Valley? I think this is the perfect battle stage, don't you think, Naruto? And looked at his opponent once again. Naruto remained silent while gritting his teeth, and the Uchiha smiled with confidence. Ah yes, I did say there would be no more talking. Then how about we bring this battle to an end? All our battles up to now. Sasuke made a series of hand seals and placed his hand downwards while holding his wrist with his other hand. Gathering lighting in his hand, the high concentration of electricity produced a sound reminiscent of many birds chirping. The Chidori. Meanwhile, Naruto placed his right arm to the side and began to create his Rasengan. The Rasengan is a spinning ball of chakra formed and held in the palm of the user's hand. Naruto, as a Jinchuriki, can use the QB's chakra to assist in using the Rasengan. He made a Rasengan without the aid of a shadow clone, using the cloak itself to contain it. Due to the QB's influence, this Rasengan was darker in color and much stronger. Sasuke placed his Chidori forward and then sideways, as the attack turned into a darkish color due to the influence of the curse mark. While Naruto and Sasuke were about to charge towards each other, there was an ominous figure watching the whole fight from a distance in the air. Apparently, this person could float in air. This was none other than Fu. Fu is a purple-skinned male with red eyes and white hair. He is fairly tall and well-muscled in build. He wore long-sleeved shoes, mustard yellow pants, and a leathered black shirt with an X between columns on both of its sleeves. He also wore glasses and had hair around the sides of his head buzzed short and the top of his hair as secure as a high ponytail. These two ninjas fight really well. Now time to conduct a very interesting experiment. Fu smirked as he folded his arms and continued to watch the fight from a distance in the air. Naruto and Sasuke jumped from their respective places and charged towards each other. Rasengan. Naruto shouted. Chidori. Sasuke shouted. Both ninja charge at each other with their ultimate techniques. They collide in an explosion of blue and red chakra that forms a swirling black sphere of energy. At the last moment, Sasuke chooses to punch Naruto in the chest rather than impale him with the Chidori. Likewise, Naruto only scratches Sasuke's forehead protector, disproving the Uchiha's earlier taunt about scratching his headband, minimizing the effects of the Rasengan. The chakra sphere they had created from the clash caused some sort of white linings to spread across it. Naruto and Sasuke are left hovering within the sphere, gazing sadly at each other. A vision of a younger Sasuke and Naruto shows the two form a seal as a symbol of friendship, and they smile at each other. The bright light then slowly dissipates and as it fades away. However. Alright. Let's see what happens if I do this. Fu laughed as he materialized a sword in his hand and sliced the air like a hot knife through butter, causing the sphere Naruto and Sasuke were in to suddenly disappear. Fu's sword disappeared as the mysterious man adjusted his glasses and smirked. It worked. Meanwhile, in Mount Paozu, Goku's house. Goku was currently sitting on a chair near the dining table. He had just finished eating his lunch as he patted his stomach and smiled. Wow. That was amazing. Thanks, Kai. Goku has black spiky hair, dark colored eyes, with 3 bangs hanging to the right of his forehead and 2 bangs hanging to the left. His hair also stands up in the front with 4 spikes and 3 bangs in the back. He wore an orange guy and a black short-sleeved undershirt. He also wore dark blue boots with a yellow border and red laces and had the kanji turtle on the back of his guy within a black circle with the inner part being white in color. Gohan stared at his father after finishing his meal with good table manners and chuckled. Daddy, you sure do eat a lot. Gohan takes after his father mostly in appearance, including Goku's facial features, black eyes and even his spiky hair. At the same time, he has his mother's light peach complexion rather. The young boy also had a tail which was long and prehensile with brown fur. For the most part, his hair was relatively well kept. He wore a white sleeveless shirt and green pants with black boots with white lacing. This outfit was covered in a Hanfu-style top that was yellow with green sleeves, and on the front his family name, Sun, was written in a kanji within a large white circle with black linings. He also wore a red cap with some sort of ball attached to the top. The ball looked like a crystalline sphere that featured 4 pointed stars in a rigid position, akin to glass art. Kai just finished washing the dishes and turned around, smiling at her family. Sweetheart, are you ready to leave for Master Roshi's house? Kai is a beautiful woman with long straight black hair, large black eyes, a lighter skin color, and a curvaceous and slender figure. Her primary clothing was a purple dress that has an orange cloth tied on the top and a yellow sash. In the appearance, Kai's hair was tied in a bun, but she still had her hair coming down on the sides. Before Goku could answer, however, he suddenly felt something outside. Huh? As he looked out the window that was near the main entrance from the chair he was sitting on. Outside Goku's house. The large chakra sphere materialized outside Goku's house and landed on the ground, causing an explosion. Kaboom! Back with Goku. Whoa. Goku almost fell off his feet as the explosion caused a minor earthquake. Fear began to crawl into Gohan as he ran over to his mom and held her. Mommy. What's happening? Kai placed one knee on the ground and held her son tightly. Gohan. Goku displayed a serious expression and decided to investigate what the hell was going on. After exiting the house, he widened his eyes in shock and saw a cloud of dust, along with a crater in front of him. Back with Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto is shown lying on the ground, unconscious with Sasuke standing above him, revealing that Sasuke has emerged as the victor in their fight. Sunlight breaks through the clouds, illuminating the two boys, and focuses to a point on Naruto's face before it disappears altogether. Sasuke stares down at Naruto, while Sasuke's own scratched forehead protector loosens and falls to the ground, presumably confirming that Sasuke has severed ties with Konoha. It begins to rain. Sasuke is racked by a sharp pain in his arm and falls to his hands and knees. Sasuke coughed out blood as it fell right above Naruto's head, and he found himself staring at Naruto's face. After a moment of staring, he decided to get up and leave when he suddenly noticed something very odd. Sasuke got up and glanced around his surroundings in confusion. Wait, where am I? I was in the Valley of the End earlier. What is this place? Hey there. You okay, bud? A voice said from behind. Sasuke spun around quickly and looked at the direction of the voice in surprise. Who are you? Goku strode over to Sasuke with a confused look on his face. I suddenly heard a loud explosion outside my house, so I came here to check what the heck had just happened. Goku then introduced with a smile. As for who I am, my name is Son Goku. What's your name? Goku strode over to Sasuke with a confused look on his face. I suddenly heard a loud explosion outside my house, so I came here to check what the heck had just happened. Goku then introduced with a smile. As for who I am, my name is Son Goku. What's your name? That's none of your business. Sasuke answered rudely while holding his right arm, which was slightly damaged due to the use of curse mark level 2. What is this place? Goku blinked in confusion. This is Mount Paozu, where I live with my family. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, baffled. Mount Paozu? I have never heard of that name before. How did me and Naruto get here? That's when realization dawned on his face as he thought to himself, could it be that when me and Naruto clashed with our ultimate techniques, the power was so great that it teleported us to a different location? Flashback begins. Naruto and Sasuke jumped from their respective places and charged towards each other. Rasengan. Naruto shouted. Chidori. Sasuke shouted. Both ninja charge at each other with their ultimate techniques. They collide in an explosion of blue and red chakra that forms a swirling black sphere of energy. At the last moment, Sasuke chooses to punch Naruto in the chest rather than impale him with the Chidori. Likewise, Naruto only scratches Sasuke's forehead protector, disproving the Uchiha's earlier taunt about scratching his headband, minimizing the effects of the Rasengan. The chakra sphere they had created from the clash caused some sort of white linings to spread across it. Naruto and Sasuke are left hovering within the sphere, gazing sadly at each other. A vision of a younger Sasuke and Naruto shows the two form a seal as a symbol of friendship, and they smile at each other. The bright light then slowly dissipates and as it fades away. Flashback ends. Sasuke gritted his teeth in frustration. Damn it, that could possibly explain why we got here. Looks like I won't be able to go to Orochimaru unless I figure out the way back. The sound of groaning was heard. Naruto, who was on the ground near Sasuke, slowly opened his eyes and saw the sunlight above hitting his face. Sasuke eyed Naruto and thought to himself, damn it, Naruto's awake, things just got complicated. Goku knelt beside Naruto and stared at his face. Hey there, you okay? While Naruto's body was still on the ground, he stared at Goku groggily before asking, who are you? He then got up on his butt as Goku stood up and led his hand out towards the Uzumaki. Perplexed, the Jinchuriki decided to take Goku's hand and using his support, managed to stand back to his feet. Suddenly, Naruto widened his eyes in shock. Wait, where's Sasuke? He frantically looked around his surroundings until he spotted his friend right next to him. Sasuke. Whoa, easy there. Don't get into a fight here. Goku placed his hands in between Naruto and Sasuke, trying to calm the situation down. Naruto looked once again at Goku and questioned, hey? Who are you? Goku smiled. My name is Goku. What's your name? Naruto faced his body towards Goku and introduced, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Goku directed his gaze towards Sasuke as the Uchiha answered hesitantly, my name is Sasuke Uchiha. Goku grinned. Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. Those are awesome sounding names. What happened here, guys? Naruto widened his eyes in shock as he suddenly remembered about their fight from earlier. Oh, right. I was trying to get Sasuke back to the village. And we were fighting, and we got teleported to a different location, Sasuke interrupted. Naruto turned around to face his best friend. What? What do you mean? Haven't you noticed? Look around you. Naruto glanced around his surroundings and widened his eyes slightly in surprise. Wait a minute, why are we in a completely different place? I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like earlier when we clashed with our ultimate techniques, the chakra levels were so great that it might have sent us here by accident. You guys were fighting earlier? Is that why there was an explosion just now? Goku was in awe. Sasuke stared at Goku with a serious look on his face. Yeah, are you a ninja? A ninja? Well, I'm more of a martial artist. Naruto looked at Goku and asked, Goku, do you know how to get back to the Leaf Village? The Leaf Village? Goku repeated, confused. Sasuke gritted his teeth in irritation. Naruto, I'm not going back to the Leaf Village no matter what. Naruto raised his eyes comically at Sasuke and argued, I told you I would take your ass back to the village, even if it meant breaking all of your bones. Sasuke scoffed, grabbing Naruto's collar. Don't get beepy. Clearly in our battle just now, I was able to defeat you. Naruto growled, grabbing Sasuke's collar as well. Well, I'm still standing. And as long as I'm standing, I'll do everything I can to take you back to the village. Goku rubbed his back head and chuckled. Man, these guys are funny. He then decided to ask the ninjas, what is this Leaf Village anyway? Naruto and Sasuke looked at Goku and left each other's collars, and the former asked with a confused look on his face. Wait a minute, you don't know what the Leaf Village is? Have you been living under a rock? Is that a place I'm supposed to know about? Goku placed his hand on his chin and tilted his head slightly to the left. It's one of the 5 great villages. Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. Could it be we probably are in a very far away place where the people here don't know about the 5 great nations? What? Naruto was shocked. Then how are we going to get back to the Leaf Village? Goku smiled while placing his fists on his hips. Why don't you guys come over to my house? You guys can explain everything that has happened so far and maybe I might be able to help you find your village. Alright, it looks like I don't have much of a choice anyway, Sasuke grumbled, walking past Goku and towards his house. Boy. Wait up, Sasuke. Naruto ran over to Sasuke's side. Later inside Goku's house 10 minutes later. And that's what happened. Sasuke had just finished explaining to Goku everything that had conspired between Naruto and him. Naruto and Sasuke were currently sitting on chairs next to a dining table, with Goku sitting across them. Kai and Gohan were also sitting near Goku, with Gohan slightly scared. I see, so basically, you guys got into some conflict, had a battle, and because of your power, you were accidentally teleported here. You guys must be really strong. Goku said. And now you want to find the way back to your village? Kai asked. Naruto nodded. That's right. But we don't know how to get back there. Goku smiled. I think I know someone who might be able to help. Really? Naruto was surprised. Goku nodded and continued to smile. Yeah. I have an old friend named Bulma and she is a brilliant scientist. I'm actually going to go meet her and a few other friends today on an island. If I take you guys with me to the island, then maybe she will be able to help you guys out. Really, that would be great. Naruto said exuberantly. Sasuke thought to himself. Looks like I can't go to Orochimaru anymore after all. I have no choice but to return back to the Leaf Village. Oh. By the way, I forgot to introduce my family. This is my wife Kai and this is my son Gohan. Goku introduced, pointing at his family members one by one. Naruto noticed something wiggling behind Gohan's back and he raised his eyes comically. Wait a minute. Is that a tail? Gohan got off his chair and bowed. Hello, my name is Gohan. It's nice to meet you. He didn't seem scared anymore after realizing Naruto and Sasuke were not a threat. Goku chuckled. Oh yeah. When I was a kid, I had a tail too. However, it got cut off a long time ago. But my son has inherited my tail. Wow, Naruto was surprised. You're an interesting kid, Gohan. Sasuke stood up from his chair, causing the chair he was sitting on to slide back slightly. Alright, we should get going and meet Bulma. Naruto looked at Sasuke while still sitting on his chair with a surprised look on his face. Sasuke? Kai smiled. I think Sasuke's right. But don't you think you guys should rest a bit first? You guys seem a little hurt from your last battle. Sasuke scoffed. It's fine, this is nothing. The sound of a stomach grumbling was heard and Sasuke stayed quiet for a moment. Naruto's stomach also began to grumble as the Uzumaki chuckled and said, "Looks like we both are hungry." Kai stood up from her chair. "Then you boys stay here. I'll make you both some food." Sasuke gritted his teeth in irritation. "Look, I don't need to. Kai's food is amazing. You should stay here for a bit and try it before we leave for Kame House." Goku insisted. "Kame House?" Naruto said, confused. Goku nodded with a smile. "Yeah. It's the island I was talking about. It's the place where I was earlier trained by my master. Bulma will also be meeting us there." Sasuke sighed and sat down on his chair. "I guess I'll have something to eat, it will help me recover a bit of my strength." After a while, Kai prepared a delicious meal and served it to Naruto, Sasuke, Goku, and Gohan. The food looked amazing and Naruto began to eat his food along with Goku and Gohan. Sasuke was hesitant at first but decided to take a bit of some sashimi. Upon chewing and tasting it, he widened his eyes slightly. "This food actually tastes really good, this is the best food I've had so far. Wow. This tastes really good. However, it's still not as great as Ichiraku's ramen." Naruto thought to himself while enjoying the food. Gohan was eating his food as well with neat table manners using chopsticks. He would slowly eat his rice while Goku simply chewed, gobbled, and ate his food fast. "More!" Naruto and Sasuke shouted simultaneously, extending their hands ahead of them into the air, indicating that they wanted more rounds of food in their rice bowls. Goku stared at Naruto and Sasuke whilst chuckling and thought to himself, looks like they were really hungry after all. 10 minutes later outside Goku's house with Naruto, Sasuke, Goku, Gohan, and Kai. Once Naruto and the others had finished their scrumptious meal, the group headed outside Goku's house and stood near a small overpass with a stream of water flowing underneath it. Sasuke stared at his hand for a moment while thinking to himself, thanks to eating Kai's meal, I was able to get my strength back. So how far is Kame House anyway? Naruto wondered. Goku smiled. It's a bit far away, but we can get there pretty fast with Nimbus. Naruto squinted at Goku, baffled. Nimbus. What is that? Goku chuckled and said, it'd be better if I just showed you what I'm talking about. He then turned to his left, cupped his hand on his mouth without covering it fully, and called out, Nimbus. At first, nothing happened for the first few seconds, which made Sasuke raise an eyebrow in doubt. However, that's when he noticed something from the corner of his eye. Looking to his right, he noticed something approaching them from the sky. This caused Sasuke to widen his eyes slightly. What is that? Something's coming. It was not long before a yellow cloud zoomed towards Goku from the sky, before stopping next to him. Naruto freaked out comically. Wait a minute, is that a flying cloud? Sasuke was perplexed as well, as he stared at the cloud with slight caution. Noticing the confused looks on the ninjas' faces, Goku decided to explain with a smile, this is Flying Nimbus. It was given to me by my master when I was younger. Only those of a pure heart can ride it. He then jumped on the cloud and stood on it with ease, shocking Naruto and Sasuke. See? Naruto raised his eyes comically again. How does that even work? Goku got off the cloud and landed on the ground before facing Naruto and asking, why don't you get on it and try it out? Naruto stared at the cloud for a moment before grinning widely. I get it. This must be some sort of special jutsu, right? Man. I should try it out then. He hopped onto the cloud, only to fall through it, landing face first on the ground. Yo. How did that not work? I guess you're not pure of heart, then. Sasuke said, placing his hands in his pocket. Naruto got up quickly and faced his best friend, pointing a finger at him. Why don't you get on it, then? Sasuke scowled and looked away. I don't want to. Goku chuckled sheepishly and rubbed his back head. I guess that means I'd have to take you guys there myself. You'll have to hold on to me while I fly with Nimbus. Sounds good. Sasuke walked towards Goku and let his hands out of his pockets. What choice do we have? We need to get back. Naruto grinned. Yeah, Sakura-chan and the others are waiting for us. By the way, Naruto, Goku began. What is this jutsu you mentioned earlier? Naruto stared at Goku, confused. What do you mean? Are you saying you don't know what chakra is? Chakra? Is that some kind of food? What? No. Have you really been living under a rock this whole time? With chakra, we can perform special techniques. Goku rubbed his back head. I don't know anything about this chakra, but you did mention it can perform special techniques. Is it like Kai? Hi. What's that? Goku blinked. You don't know what Kai is? Let me show you. He then glanced around his surroundings until he found a nearby boulder. Facing the boulder, which was around 15 feet away, Goku placed his palm forward before firing a Kai beam from his palm, directing it towards the boulder. The boulder exploded upon getting into contact with the Kai beam, causing a cloud of dust to rise up, along with splinters of rocks to fall on the ground. The boulder was no longer there since it had been destroyed. What? Sasuke was shocked. Naruto was in awe. Whoa. What exactly was that? That was so cool. Daddy. That was amazing. Gohan complimented with a smile. As Kai continued to watch the scene unfold, Goku faced the ninjas and explained, Kai exists in every living being. If you're able to draw it out and learn how to utilize it, you'll be able to surpass your normal human limitation and gain immense strength and speed. How does one use Kai? Naruto asked curiously. Goku smiled and placed his palms cupped together with some distance between them in front of his chest and said, it requires some practice, but you'll have to draw your Kai out from the middle of your chest. He then materialized a glowing Kai orb between his palm. Naruto was in awe. Whoa. That's super cool. Sasuke thought to himself while staring at the Kai orb. It somewhat looks like chakra in a way. The Kai orb slowly faded away and Goku let his hands fall down beside his waist. If you want, I could teach you guys how to utilize your Kai someday. He then carried Gohan in his arms and hopped on the yellow cloud before glancing behind his shoulder at Naruto and Sasuke. Alright, I need you guys to hold onto my back so that you don't fall off. Remember to hold tight. Once Naruto and Sasuke latched onto Goku's back, Kai said, take care, you guys. Hope you guys will have fun at Kame House. Bye mommy. Gohan said with a smile. Goku chuckled and looked at Kai. Thanks, Kai. We'll be back later. And with that, Goku looked ahead before the cloud took off into the sky. In the sky with Naruto, Sasuke, Goku, and Gohan. Woohoo. Goku cheered, the cloud zooming through the sky at an incredible speed. Naruto and Sasuke had to wrap their arms around Goku's neck in order to not fall off. While Goku held his son in his arms, the Saiyan glanced behind his shoulder at the ninjas and said with a smile, hold on tight or you'll fall off. Sasuke was shocked, staring at the ground far below him from the sky. Such speed. This flying cloud is so fast. I didn't expect something like this to even exist. Meanwhile, Naruto screamed for dear life while tightly keeping his arms wrapped around Goku's neck. Oi. Goku. Slow down, will you? Goku chuckled sheepishly and looked ahead. Sorry about that. I'll slow down a bit. And with that, the cloud slowed down to a manageable speed while still being a bit fast. Goku continued, we should be at Kame House soon. I'm sure Bulma will be able to help you guys. I love flying on Nimbus. Gohan laughed happily. Naruto and Sasuke's bodies were flailing in the air. The only thing that kept them latched onto Goku were their arms around his neck to ensure they wouldn't fall down to their deaths. Naruto glanced at Goku and asked, you said you got this cloud from your master. He must be really strong, huh? Goku grinned. He sure is. I think Master Roshi might be interested in training you too once he gets to know your power. Before Naruto could say another word, the cloud picked up the pace a bit in order to reach Kame House. In a field. The flamingos were feeding on grass. A fatigued farmer let out a deep sigh and rested his hat on the back compartment of his old, beat-up, blue pickup truck. He took a look around his farm and said, I need a breather. Something falling from the sky caught the farmer's attention. A meteor-like thing hurtled overhead the farmer and crashed a little further in his farm, causing debris of clouds to form. The farmer could simply gape in utter shock. He stared at the debris of clouds and said incredulously, what was that just now? A meteor, a UFO. After a few seconds of compassing himself, he hopped into his pickup truck and started it. I better go check it out. As he sped towards the crash spot. After reaching upon the crash site, he hopped out of his vehicle and trotted over to the edge of the crater. Incredible. The farmer managed to stammer. He peered down and saw a beat-up metallic pod with a red window, which confused the farmer. That's no meteor. What is it? He wondered. He was pondering about the mysterious object when the door of the pod suddenly opened and a black figure jumped in the air and hovered, facing the terrified farmer. The mysterious man stepped on the edge of the crater in front of the farmer and looked at him with a scowl on his face. He didn't seem to be pleased with seeing the farmer. The farmer couldn't help maintaining his composure. He pointed his gun at the mysterious man. Who are you? See, come no closer. He stammered. The mysterious man had extremely long, spiky black hair, brown and black colored battle armor with navy blue boots, armored gloves, a navy blue chest protector, orange thigh and crotch pads that matched his shoulder pads and red bands around his right thigh and bicep. He wore black short shorts under his armor, as well as an unfamiliar device attached to his left eye. The mysterious man pressed a button on the device as it blinked. It let out a beep and displayed a deciphered code on the screen of the device. The man scoffed at the farmer. You only have a power level of 5. As expected, this planet is filled with weaklings. As he took a step forward, provoking the farmer to bring it on. The farmer nearly jumped out of his skin, metaphorically, and backed away. He threatened with a pointed gun, if you take one more step, I'll shoot you. I mean it. The man chuckled with glee. "Oh, then why don't you shoot me right here?" he said provokingly as he continued to stride over to the scared stiffened farmer. The farmer panicked and fired his gun at the man, but to his astonishment, the man shot his hand in front of his face in one instant and caught the bullet in midair, with a smirk on his face. He held the bullet between his thumb and index finger. The farmer's world shattered. He'd just caught a bullet. Just who is this person? How will he get out of this predicament? The farmer shook himself from his stupor and made an attempt to flee. Before the farmer could turn around, the man flicked the bullet straight through the farmer's body, hitting the truck, totaling it and killing him, or so he thought. The man stared at the deceased farmer and said, "It's a race of utter weaklings. You are no match for the elite Saiyan warrior, Raditz." Just then the device attached to his left eye beeped and began to read something, causing him to look towards the mountains far off to the west in a contemplating manner. "Hum, a life form of great power, distance 4880, as he took off flying in the direction of the reading he just received. He muttered under his breath. Kakarot. Later in a wasteland. Piccolo was standing on a plateau overlooking the desert wasteland. He was tall, had green skin, pointed ears, fangs, and no eyebrows. His muscles were pink in color and outlined with red. Piccolo wore a purple guy with a light blue obi fabric belt tied around his waist. He also wore a turban, shoulder-padded armor covered with a white cape, and brown pointy shoes. He was thinking about his future conquest of Earth and defeating Goku when he suddenly turned around in shock and fear after sensing someone coming. He thought to himself, "I sense great power and it's coming closer," as he began to brace himself. "Is it Son Goku?" He gasped when he saw Raditz flying towards him. No. Piccolo held his ground as he faced Raditz, who had just landed in front of him and snarled. Raditz looked at Piccolo and frowned. "Man, you're not Kakarot." Piccolo scoffed. "Who are you and what business do you have with me?" Raditz chuckled. "Have business with you none." Piccolo became irritated as he held out his fist. "Then why did you come here? Do you have a death wish or something?" Raditz only smirked as he checked his device. "Quite the feisty one now, aren't we?" As the device beep and numbers appeared on the screen, HMPH power level 332, not bad, but still nowhere near my level. Piccolo began to lose his cool and got into his fighting stance and shouted, "Just who do you think you are? Do you have any idea who you're speaking to?" Raditz just kept his cool and smirked. "Does it look like I care?" Piccolo began to feel nervous as he bared his fangs and began to sweat and thought, does he really think that he's that powerful? Then, Piccolo shot out his arm, firing a strong yellow blast at Raditz's head on. "Hi." Raditz continued to smirk as he let the blast hit him dead on, creating a billowing cloud of dust. Piccolo smiled and thought, that got him. His smile faded and was replaced with shock when the dust cleared, revealing Raditz, who had not moved a muscle. An impressive display of dust. "Ha ha ha," laughed Raditz, "is that all you can do?" Piccolo gasped in utter shock. I put all I had into that. You should be nothing right now." Raditz then put up his right hand and said, "Now, it's my turn. Let me show you what real power is." Piccolo was frozen in fear as Raditz charged an energy ball in his hand, but before he did anything with it, Raditz's device blinked and beeped, gaining his attention and causing him to stop. "There seems to be another greater power level on my scouter," as Raditz levitated into the sky, leaving a gawking Piccolo on the ground. Raditz looked around until the scouter beeped again. "Aha, a distance of 12,909, in that direction," as he turned east. "It's the biggest on this planet. It has to be Kakarot this time." Raditz then flew away in the direction of the power level, leaving Piccolo to fall to his knees from shock and breathing heavily. Still sweating, Piccolo gritted his teeth and said, "I don't believe it, I was petrified I couldn't move." At Kame House with Master Roshi and Krillin. The yellow aircraft landed on the island and a woman got out of it and went towards the door. The woman had blue hair and wore a lab coat. At the door, she said, "Good afternoon. Long time no see." She greeted with a hand greeting gesture. Inside the house, a bald midget, along with an old man, stared at the woman in joy. "Bulma," Krillin said happily. Krillin is a bald midget who wore an orange guy. Whereas Master Roshi was the master of Goku and Krillin. He wore casual clothing and had a white beard and mustache, and also wore red-framed sunglasses. Bulma walked in with her hands in her coat pockets. "You said to come visit, so I came." Roshi had a beer in his hand as he stood up and laughed. Well, it's really been a long time, hasn't it?" Bulma glanced around the house and commented, "This house hasn't changed at all, hasn't it? You sure have been pretty mean to us. Unless someone tells you to come over, you never come," Roshi said and took a chug of his beer when he suddenly flinched as soon as Bulma suddenly got in front of him with a gift in her hand. "Here." Bulma presented a gift to Roshi, startling the old man and causing the beer to spill a bit on the ground. "I bought some manju beans as a gift." There was a large turtle in the room as well, and he looked at the gift happily. Roshi chuckled and rubbed his back head. You didn't need to go through all that trouble. He then brought his face close to Bulma's chest. If you'd let me touch your boobs a little, I'd as he reached his hand towards her chest and was about to touch her. Bulma got creeped out and immediately whacked Roshi with the present on his head before he could touch her. Due to being whacked, the glass of beer slipped from Roshi's hand, causing the glass to fall on his head, as well as the drink. The old man held his head in pain and scowled. As always, you don't appreciate my gags. Bulma frowned. As usual, you're still a lecherous old man. Krillin picked up the present, balanced it on his finger, and walked over to Bulma, asking, by the way, Bulma, what's going on with Yamcha? Bulma looked forward and scowled. Yamcha? That idiot. As she crossed her arms and clenched on her coat. Why would I know what's going on with him? I'm so mad at him that I didn't even tell him everyone was getting here together today. She then let her hands down and said, let's have a blast without him here. Roshi sighed. You guys sure do fight a lot. That's for sure, Krillin agreed. Bulma turned her attention towards Krillin and asked, where's Launch, by the way? She went chasing after Tien about 5 years ago, Krillin answered as he turned around and went near the table. He then opened the present and drooled at the manju beans before taking a bite. The turtle came near Krillin as well to stare at the manju beans and eat them. Meanwhile with Raditz. Dashing through the air, Raditz's scouter beeped and gave a reading. He smirked. The target is moving at a high velocity. You're mine now, Kakarot. Meanwhile with Goku. There's Master Roshi's house. Goku pointed over at the island below them as the cloud began to descend near it. Let's go and see them. Goku hopped off the cloud while still holding his son in his hands as Naruto and Sasuke got off the Saiyan and landed on the shore. Is this where we will meet Bulma? Naruto asked curiously. Goku nodded and walked towards the door. Yahoo! Inside the house, Bulma turned towards the source of the voice as Krillin chocked on some of banju beans he was eating when he heard his best friend's voice. That voice? Bulma said as he ran towards the door and opened it, with Krillin reaching nearby as well. Goku. Both said in unison. Roshi came outside as well as Goku greeted them with a hand greeting gesture while still holding his son with his other hand. Yo. Naruto and Sasuke walked near Goku's side as the Uchiha stared at Bulma. That woman is probably Bulma. Bulma stared at Gohan, Naruto, and Sasuke in confusion. Huh? What's up with these kids? Are you babysitting them for someone? Krillin asked. Naruto frowned. Babysitting? Goku looked at Gohan and responded, he's my son. What? Krillin, Bulma, and Roshi said in collective shock. Goku's son? The old man said incredulously. And on top of that 3 children, but those 2 kids look like they're at least teenagers. Krillin said, shocked. Goku blinked for a moment before laughing. Oh. No. I have only one son and I'm holding him in my arms right now. These 2 guys on my sides are actually people I met today who were lost. Lost? Bulma said, confused. Goku nodded. Yeah. They lost their way home and needed your help to get back home. Maybe an aircraft or something. So, I remembered you and thought you would be able to help them. Bulma stared at Naruto and Sasuke for a moment before saying, I see, well, of course I'll be able to help. What are your names, by the way? Naruto smiled. Naruto Uzumaki. Sasuke stared at Bulma for a moment before introducing Sasuke Uchiha. Well, Naruto and Sasuke, where do you guys live? Do you know the place you live in? Bulma asked. It's called Konoha. It's a village, Sasuke answered as he placed his hands in his pocket. Bulma smiled. I might be able to find a village named like that on my world map. Then I will program an aircraft that will take you to the location of your village. You can do that? Naruto asked happily. Bulma nodded and thumped her chest proudly. Of course. I can help you. Leave it to me. Nice to meet you too. Sasuke sighed with relief. He may not be able to go to Orochimaru, but at least he wasn't lost anymore. Speaking of which, the Uchiha realized that he would probably be kept under custody or surveillance once he got back to the village. However, he decided to train with Goku for a bit first and learn a thing or two. Maybe Goku is even stronger than Orochimaru. He also had a feeling that Naruto also wanted to train under Goku as well. However, right now, he couldn't let the blonde ninja surpass him. Naruto grinned as Goku asked, by the way, is it really that strange I have a son? He placed his son down and said, go on, introduce yourself. Gohan was shy at first, but then he bowed in front of Roshi, Krillin, and Bulma. Good afternoon. Krillin, Bulma, and Roshi bowed and greeted back. Yes, good afternoon. Roshi stood upright, but then suddenly noticed that Bulma and Krillin were still bowing down, so he bowed down once again. Good afternoon. Goku smiled. His name is Son Gohan. Suddenly, Gohan noticed a pair of eyes on him as he looked to his left and saw a turtle staring at him happily. Son Gohan. Oh, I see. You named him after your late grandpa. Roshi noticed. Yup. Goku placed his hands on his hips. Roshi scratched his bald head and admitted. Still, I admit that this is a surprise. To think that you'd come here with your son. The turtle got closer to Gohan, scaring the boy a bit as the young half-Saiyan clung a bit to his dad's leg. Bulma walked forward towards Gohan and crouched. Gohan-kun, how old are you? Gohan began counting on his fingers before answering, I'm 4 years old. Bulma smiled, crossing her arms and placing it on her bent knees, resting her head on her forearms. Wow, you've got some good manners, considering you're the child of Goku. She patted Gohan's head. Goku laughed, Kai's fussy about that. Bulma stared at Goku for a moment before turning her attention back at Gohan, asking the kid, hey, Gohan, what do you want to become when you grow up? The great scholar, Gohan responded. Bulma laid her hands down with a surprised look on her face. A scholar. Wow. The turtle inched closer to Gohan, causing the boy to get scared a little more as he tugged onto his father's leg. During the spur of this moment, Bulma noticed a tail wiggling behind Gohan. A tail? Yeah, just like I had before, right? Goku answered as he stared at the tail. Naruto scratched his head. Yeah, I didn't get it either. I wonder how the kid has a tail too, but Goku said it was inherited since he used to have a tail too. You're right. Krillin said as Gohan was busy patting and smiling at the turtle he now just made friends with. Bulma suddenly jumped up next to Goku and asked him nervously, hey, does anything particular happen to your boy that is strange? Her eyes moved towards her the Saiyan at the last part. Strange? Goku asked, confused. Roshi suddenly sped up next to Goku's side and asked, for example, does he undergo any changes when the moon is full? Naruto and Sasuke exchanged looks. What? Changes when the moon is full? Well, we all go to sleep early, and all Goku responded as he stared at the sky. Roshi and Bulma turned their attention towards Gohan who was now riding on the turtle, as Goku suddenly asked, how come? What makes you ask that? Roshi and Bulma freaked out as the former waved his hands in front of Goku and assured, it's nothing. Nothing to worry about. Well, Bulma quietly placed her hands in her pockets and looked away nervously. Krillin did the same as he looked at a different direction, pretending to be lost in thought. What's so scary about the full moon? Naruto suddenly asked, catching everyone's attention. Why are you guys so freaked out about a full moon? Freaked out? Bulma stammered. Krillin decided to change the topic by asking, hey, Goku, is your boy strong like you? Goku turned around and stared at Gohan with folded arms. I'm not sure, I think he has quite a bit of power, but Kai gets mad whenever I try to train him. Krillin frowned. How come? That's such a waste, isn't it? I know, right? She says the world is at peace now and therefore there's no need for Gohan to train and we don't need martial arts anymore. Goku answered. She also said that since the world is at peace, Gohan needs to study instead. Roshi laughed. So that tomboy of a girl turned out to be quite an educated-minded mother, huh? Bulma laughed and walked near Gohan, staring at his hat. Say, is that thing on top of Gohan's hat a Dragon Ball? Yeah, it's 4-star Dragon Ball. It's a keepsake from my grandpa, you know. I found it and stuck it on Gohan's hat. I also found the 3-star ball and the 6-star ball as well. I kept those at home. Bulma smiled. That sure takes me back, the Dragon Balls. What are Dragon Balls? Naruto asked. Goku turned his attention towards Naruto and responded, Dragon Balls are these mystical balls that are usually scattered all around the world. Find all 7 Dragon Balls and you can summon a dragon named Shenron. That dragon will be able to grant any wish you desire. Naruto and Sasuke went silent for a moment before the former suddenly said, what? Bulma laughed. I know it may be hard to believe, but me and Goku have gone on adventures before and used the Dragon Balls. The Dragon Balls can grant any wish, even reviving people from the dead. Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. No way, you're kidding. That has to be some sort of joke. No way something like that exists. Naruto grumbled, folding his arms. Sasuke scoffed. For once, I agree with Naruto. Suddenly, Goku looked around his surroundings, alarmed. What is that? What's wrong? Roshi asked with a serious look on his face. What's wrong, Goku? Naruto asked, worried. Goku stared at the sky and responded. Someone's coming this way. What? Bulma stared at the sky as well, looking for anyone in sight. What do you mean? Naruto asked, baffled. Someone's coming. Krillin stared at the sky as well. Goku nodded, I can sense someone with a high Kai coming towards this island, I feel amazing power. What is this? Suddenly, a speck was visible in the sky as Sasuke suddenly noticed it too. Over there. It's here. Goku warned. Naruto finally looked up at the sky to see what was everyone talking about and widened his eyes in shock. Someone was flying towards the island. What the? What is that? Krillin wondered as he shielded his eyes from the sun with his hands a bit. Roshi broke a sweat and thought to himself, what is this ferocious bloodlust I'm sensing? Finally, a person landed on the island in front of group. It was Raditz. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Sasuke thought to himself as he shifted into his battle stance. Naruto shifted uncomfortably and wondered, who's he? Raditz's scouter scanned Goku's power level until it beeped. So, we finally meet. You've grown, huh? Raditz's scouter scanned Goku's power level until it made a beeping sound. So, we finally meet. You've grown, huh? Goku's eyes widened a little, surprised, as the mysterious man continued, still, I could recognize you at first glance, Kakarot. Goku blinked in confusion. Kakarot. Raditz smirked proudly. You look just like father. What does that mean? Bulma said softly, staring at the newcomer with confusion. Sasuke narrowed his eyes at Raditz and thought to himself, why do I have a bad feeling about this? Naruto looked at Goku and asked, Uncle Goku, do you know this guy? Kakarot. Raditz frowned. What's with the condition of this planet? You were under orders to dispose this planet's ancient life. What on earth have you been goofing around for? And pointed his finger at Goku accusingly. What? Naruto was surprised. Wipe out humanity? Goku raised an eyebrow in confusion and glanced behind his shoulder at Roshi, hoping his master would know who the guy was or what he was talking about. Unfortunately, Roshi had a baffled look on his face as he too didn't know what to say or who the man was in the first place. Krillin sighed and pointed his finger at Raditz without outstretching his arm fully. Hey, look, I don't know who you are, but go on back. A smirk was plastered on Raditz's face, scoffing. Krillin took a few steps towards him and waved his hand at the Saiyan in a dismissing manner. Shoo. The groan followed by as Krillin began to walk towards Raditz with a playful look on his face. It won't do you any good for you to be this drunk in the afternoon. Okay, go back to where you came from. Goku suddenly sensed something dangerous and reached his hand out towards Krillin, warning his best friend, Krillin, don't get near him. Raditz suddenly unwrapped his tail on his waist and whacked him with it, sending the bald midget hurtling towards the wall of Kame house, breaking through it in the process. The martial artist collapsed inside the broken hole like a pile of bricks. Luckily, when Krillin was being thrown into the wall, Roshi got out of the way quickly before he could get thrown in the mix. Goku looked at Krillin and cried, Krillin. What the hell? Naruto was shocked as he looked back and forth at Krillin and Raditz. What just happened? Sasuke stared at Raditz in shock. I didn't even see him move. What did he just do? Goku gritted his teeth in anger and turned his attention back at Raditz. Why you? Suddenly, his face froze in shock as he saw a tail wiggling near Raditz's hip. Everyone, including Naruto and Sasuke, were in shock at what they were witnessing. Tail Goku stared at the Saiyan's tail, shocked. Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. Wait, is this person somehow related to Goku? But Goku doesn't seemingly know who he is. Raditz folded his arms and chuckled. Looks like you finally figured out who I am. Naruto growled with a fist out. Hey, I don't know what's going on here, but you need an ass kicking. No one hurts my friends. What do you mean? Who are you? Goku demanded angrily. Raditz was surprised. Impossible, you could have never forgotten me or your mission unless. What the hell are you talking about? Naruto seethed with rage. I'm moments away from kicking your ass. Raditz eyed Naruto and snapped back, shut it, brat. This is between me and Kakarot. Naruto was about to jump forward to attack Raditz. However, Sasuke blocked his way by placing his arm in the way. The Uzumaki stared at his friend, irritated. What are you doing, Sasuke? Sasuke, with his arm still outstretched to the right to block Naruto from proceeding further, whispered, wait, I want to know what's going on here first. It seems that Goku and that man might have some sort of connection. Naruto took a step back and frowned and was about to open his mouth, but Raditz turned his attention back at Goku and asked, Kakarot, did you take a blow to your head when you were young? Goku frowned. My name isn't this caca nonsense. It's Son Goku. Raditz looked irritated. Okay, well, did you hit your head in the past? Goku displayed a serious look on his face and placed a hand on the side of his head. Fine, it's true. I've got a scar there. Maybe I did hit my head once. But I was too little to remember now. Raditz bellowed, damn it. Well, that would explain it. Goku shouted, explain what? What are you talking about? Goku, a voice said. Everyone looked towards the source of the voice and saw Roshi with a grim look on his face. Long ago, your grandfather, Son Gohan, told me something. As everyone listened intently, including Naruto and Sasuke, Roshi swallowed a little before continuing, he told me he once found a baby in the woods. A baby with a tail. He was violent in nature and couldn't be tamed. That is, until one day, that baby accidentally fell into a ravine and hit his head hard, nearly dying. However, having an unbelievable life force, the baby survived. What's more, his violent nature disappeared and he became a good little boy. But Raditz was shocked. Goku pointed at himself and asked, "And that baby was me?" Roshi gave a slight nod. "Yes." Naruto widened his eyes in shock. "Goku is kind of like me. He used to be violent and have some sort of monster in him, except I still have a demon fox in me." "That still doesn't explain who the hell that guy is." Sasuke scowled. Bulma nodded in agreement, bending forward a little to hold Gohan in her hands. Looking at Roshi, she asked, "But what does that mean? Does this guy and Goku have some kind of connection?" Sasuke narrowed his eyes at Raditz. "That's what I've been wondering." Raditz frowned. "Be warned, if there are still any traces of your memories left, I will find a way to reveal them. We need you back, Kakarot. Your people need you back." The groaning sound was heard as Krillin had just regained consciousness and was now emerging from the broken wall he had been sent hurtling into earlier. Goku moved his head a little to the right till he could see Krillin from the corner of his eyes and asked, "Krillin, you okay?" Krillin grimaced and placed his hand on his bald head, easing himself from the pain he had received moments ago. "Yeah." After getting back to his feet, Krillin shifted to one of his martial arts fighting stances and warned, "Be careful, Goku. This guy is freakishly strong." Sasuke activated his Sharingan and stared at Raditz. Within seconds of beepizing his opponent, his eyes widened in shock. "What the funk? It's like some sort of chakra armor is around his body. Unbelievable power. Wait, is that even chakra in the first place? There's something off about it." Naruto took a step forward and clenched his fist in front of his chest, snarling. "Hey. If you're not going to tell us who you are, then I'll just beat it out of you, myself." Goku quickly glanced at Naruto and warned, "No, wait. Naruto, be careful. He's far stronger than you think he is." Naruto was surprised as Raditz chuckled at Naruto. The Saiyan opened his mouth to say, "Aren't you a hasty one?" The sweat trickled from the side of Goku's head. He commented, "Just looking at that guy makes my hair stand on end, and that has never happened to me before." Raditz had enough and shouted, "That's because you and I are the same. You are no earthling. You were born on planet Vegeta. You are part of the proud and mighty alien race known as the Saiyans, the mightiest warriors in the universe." Everyone widened their eyes in shock, including the ninjas. Naruto thought to himself, "Planet, what is that guy talking about?" A shiver went down Roshi's spine. "No, it can't be." Raditz then proclaimed, "And I am your older brother, Raditz." "What?" Naruto exclaimed, staring at Raditz incredulously. Goku's older brother Krillin freaked out. Bulma's jaw dropped. "And he's an alien? No way." Sasuke leaned forward a little and angrily said, "Cut the crap. Aliens, planets. You're talking like as if Goku and you are aliens from outer space. Stop spouting nonsense." Krillin agreed and took a step forward boldly. "Right. If Goku's from outer space, then why is he even here anyway?" Raditz folded his arms and chuckled. "The answer is pretty simple. Kakarot was sent here to exterminate all life on this planet. We Saiyans are a renowned warrior race, an entrepreneurial one. Our task is to go through space, searching for planets with good environments, and once we exterminate the living beings of those planets, we sell them for a price to other aliens who are looking for a suitable planet to live on." "Goku is an alien?" Naruto was dumbfounded. Sasuke trembled in fear. As crazy as it sounds, he might be telling the truth. Naruto looked at Sasuke, surprised. "Sasuke, how can that even be true?" Sasuke noticed his trembling hands and gulped nervously. "His chakra doesn't seem like normal chakra, but I can tell he's stronger than any opponent we have fought so far, stronger than Zabuza, stronger than Gaara, stronger than Kakashi-sensei, stronger than Orochimaru, and even stronger than him." He said the last part with disdain. As an image of Itachi Uchiha webbed his mind for a brief moment. Naruto looked back at Raditz and thought to himself, even stronger than Zabuza. Raditz placed his arms down and continued, "When a Saiyan warrior is fully grown, they are assigned to the most difficult planets, with the most powerful natives. But first, we warriors must have years of practice. For even as babies, we are, in time, sent to populate weaker planets like this one." He then looked up at the sky and said, "Kakarot, you should have wiped out the Earthlings here, that is if you had remembered your orders. Luckily, this planet has a moon." If all of this is true, then Roshi's words trailed off. The turtle hermit began to sweat nervously. Krillin gulped nervously. "They make Piccolo look like nothing compared to what the Saiyans do." Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. "Naruto, I think he's being serious," as his eyes reverted back to normal. The Uchiha couldn't find any deception in the evil Saiyan's words, or even in his body language for that matter. Naruto gritted his teeth in anger. Today has been the worst day ever. Too many things have happened. First the retrieval mission, and then the sudden location change, and now we discover aliens exist, and they're evil. Tension filled the air as Sasuke nodded his head in agreement. "Yeah, this is not looking good." As crazy as it may sound, this alien guy is a bigger threat than anything we have faced so far. Wait a minute, what is so lucky about having a moon? Goku questioned. Raditz clenched his fist in front of his left chest and yelled, don't play dumb. It's when during the full moon that we Saiyans show our fullest powers. What do you mean? Sasuke demanded. Roshi, Krillin, and Bulma freaked out, remembering how Goku had turned into a great ape in the past during the full moon. Could that be what Raditz was talking about? Naruto noticed their reactions and thought to himself, they seem to know something about this. What are you talking about? Goku frowned. What? Raditz paused for a moment and looked near Goku's hip. Wait a second, where's your tail? What happened to your tail? Goku looked at his butt for a moment before returning his gaze at his brother. What? Raditz took a step forward with clenched his fist, shouting, I said, what happened to your tail? Answer me. Goku looked irritated. It got cut off a long time ago. Why? Raditz clenched his fist harder in front of his chest and growled. You miserable fool. No wonder you were able to get along with the living beings of this planet. You're passing as one of them, you, out of all people, my own brother has become earthling-like. Naruto took a step forward and said boldly, enough. It doesn't matter if you're an alien or not. Alien or not, killing innocent people is a horrible thing to do. Goku joined in. I agree with Naruto. It doesn't matter if I'm called some Kakagai whatever. Doesn't matter if I'm an alien or your brother. Anyone like that is a low life. Naruto growled. I'll protect my friends, no matter what. Goku smiled at Naruto's determination and then pointed his finger at himself, fixing his sights on the evil Saiyan. My name is Son Goku. Now get off my planet. Right. Right. Bulma said as she held Gohan firmly in her arms while the boy was still on the ground. Roshi added in, whatever Goku's past may be, he is a fine earthling like us now. Krillin yelled, Goku even saved this planet once. So, do us a favor and get lost. And don't ever hurt anyone again. Naruto warned. Sasuke got a bit defensive. I have a feeling this man won't leave just yet. In that case, I'll have to be prepared. Raditz eyed. And how do you expect me to do that? The Saiyans have always been few in numbers. But years ago, after a meteor collided with planet Vegeta, it was blown up. Just about all the Saiyans were reduced to space dust. He then smirked at Goku. Even our parents. Your parents, Kakarot. Naruto glanced at Goku and thought, Goku doesn't have parents like me. Sasuke to some extent sympathized with Goku. However, his focus was on Raditz, the evil Saiyan. Raditz continued, including you, there are only 4 Saiyans remaining. Me and the other Saiyans were spared because we were busy invading another planet. And you were sent to this planet. Because we were doing wrong things is the reason why we're alive in the first place. We remaining 3 inadvertently found a nice planet that ought to be able to sell for an extremely high price. We'd like to attack it, but the natives are potent. Even us 3 Saiyans might have some trouble, he added. Raditz wasn't done yet and continued his explanation, but the 4 of us. Thank the gods I remembered you. Kakarot, your power level is still incomplete. But, if you were to join us, then it would be enough to tip the scales in our favor. The space warrior walked towards Goku and leaned forward. Open your eyes, Kakarot. It will be fun. Picture the carnage. Feel your Saiyan blood stir. Goku quickly backed away from Raditz and said defiantly, don't be ridiculous. I'd rather die before lending you a hand. Alright. That's enough. Time to kick your ass. Naruto smashed his fist into his palm in front of his chest with a frown on his face. Raditz folded his arms and sighed. So that's how it is, huh? He then looked past Goku at the boy in Bulma's arms. With a pointing finger at the kid, Raditz questioned, that boy over there, he's your son, isn't he? Goku hesitated, taking a step backwards. No. Raditz smirked. It's no use trying to fool me. That tail is proof that he carries Saiyan blood, isn't it? So what if he is? Goku said defensively. Naruto appeared near Goku and glared at Raditz. If you touch Gohan, I'll beat you to a pulp. He threatened. Raditz looked at Naruto and growled. You're pushing it, brat. Or do you want to be the first to die? Raditz turned his attention back at his younger brother and chuckled menacingly. Since you, his father, won't listen to reason, I guess I'll have to borrow your son for a while. Naruto shifted to his ninja battle stance. You're asking for it. As Raditz began to head towards them, Goku warned, don't get any closer. Suddenly, Raditz disappeared, reappearing in front of Goku in a flash and delivered a ferocious knee smash, sending Goku hurtling into the air before falling on the sand behind him. Goku? Krillin cried. Goku's stomach rattled like a box of rocks. He placed his hands on his stomach, wincing and groaning in pain. Naruto looked to his left and saw what just happened. Earlier, he didn't even know the evil Saiyan had attacked due to his speed. It happened so fast that Naruto had only just now noticed it. Just what the hell was that guy's speed anyway? It was too fast for the Uzumaki. However, now wasn't the time to be dazed. Naruto quickly delivered a half-spin right hook onto Raditz. Unfortunately for the blonde ninja, Raditz easily caught the punch without even looking, shocking Naruto. What? Raditz laughed in mockery and swung Naruto's arm, sending him hurtling into the water around the island, creating a large splash of seawater. The space warrior with an amused look on his face, faced forward once again, his eyes targeting Gohan, when he suddenly noticed something. Huh? Sasuke appeared in front of Gohan and performed a series of hand seals. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. He took a deep breath before blowing fire from his mouth. Once the flames reached the outside, it materialized into a giant fireball before heading towards Raditz. Kaboom! Waves of flames began to engulf the position Raditz was in. Sasuke stared at the fiery scene ahead of him and said under his breath, "Did I get him? What kind of technique is that?" Roshi was shocked, witnessing Sasuke's fireball jutsu for the first time ever. Within a few seconds, the flames cleared up, revealing Raditz unscathed. "I'm impressed, boy. That's a very interesting technique you have there. However, that won't be enough to defeat me." Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. "What the hell? Not even a single burn mark?" Raditz laughed evilly. "Of course. I am a Saiyan warrior, the mightiest alien warrior race in the universe." Sasuke trembled in fear. "So he wasn't kidding at all. This is definitely the strongest opponent we have faced so far." "You bastard." A voice shouted. Naruto leaped high into the air above Raditz with a Rasengan. Rasengan. The ninja charged towards Raditz from above and tried to land his Rasengan. However, Raditz turned around and quickly caught Naruto's wrist before the Rasengan could make any sort of contact with his face. "And here I thought you were all just talk. However, it would seem that you have some interesting techniques as well. However, that still won't be enough to defeat me." "What?" Naruto tried to free his wrist from Raditz's firm grip, but to no avail. "Chidori." Sasuke shot towards Raditz with his Chidori, while the space warrior had his back facing the Uchiha. Unfortunately, the evil Saiyan turned around halfway and caught Sasuke's wrist as well with his free hand. Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. "What the?" Raditz laughed and suddenly spun both Naruto and Sasuke around and round before throwing them into water. However, this time, before the two ninjas could make contact with the water, Raditz fired a Kai ball from his palm, sending it straight to the ninjas. The impact caused the water to erupt high into the air, with the Kai ball damaging the Naruto and Sasuke in the process, causing an explosion. Kaboom! "Oh god." Krillin trembled in fear. "Are they dead?" Raditz snickered, staring at the rippling ocean. "They do seem to know how to take a blow. Plus, I did hold back when I shot the Kai blast. Since I was in a good mood, I let them live." He then turned his attention back at his nephew. "Now to take my nephew with me," he said the last part with a wry smile. Bulma suddenly noticed that Gohan wasn't in her arms. Apparently, he had slipped away earlier to head to his injured father. The boy was currently sobbing near his father's fallen body. "Father. Father." Raditz strode over to Gohan and quickly grabbed him by his back collar, raising him up to his chest level. "Finally, got you." "Gohan?" Bulma panicked. "They've Gohan back." Krillin cried. The wave of anxiety rushed over Roshi. "Oh god." Gohan began to cry like a baby in fear as Raditz looked at his younger brother who was still on the ground, holding his stomach and groaning in pain. "Kakarot, I'll be taking your son with me. If you want to see him alive, then listen to what your big brother tells you to do." Krillin stuttered. He beat Goku in one kick. Raditz smirked. "Kakarot, I'm giving you only one day to think about it. You will probably have to get your friends to help, too. Of course, we will require some proof of your good intentions. Let's make it simple. By this time tomorrow, you'll kill hundreds of this planet's people, at least for now, and pile their bodies here. Don't think I won't count." "What?" Bulma was shocked. Krillin yelled, "That's spineless of you. How could you use a child like that? For one, there's no way Goku could kill anyone." Roshi added in. Raditz glanced behind his shoulder at Krillin and Roshi with a smirk plastered on his face. The choice is his. If he values 100 humans over his son, then fine. However, one way or another, everyone on this planet are destined to die soon. We've decided our next target will be Earth." Bulma, Roshi, and Krillin said in unison, "What?" Clearly shocked at the statement Raditz had just made. Raditz directed his eyes back at his younger brother, who was trying to sit on his butt but couldn't because of the pain from the knee smash he had received from earlier. "The three of us Saiyans should be enough to wipe out the folks on this planet in only a month's time. Really, if you think about it, what difference does it make? Killing 100 humans here is only a head start." The Saiyan raised Gohan near his face and snickered. "After all, I don't want to kill my own nephew unless I have to, right?" "Father. I'm scared." Gohan cried like a baby while hanging in from his back collar in Raditz's grip. Goku reached his hand out towards his son while still lying on the ground. Gohan. Raditz displayed a wry smile. Alright, I'll explain one more time. By tomorrow, I want you to have 100 dead bodies of these earthlings piled up on this island here. If you do that, I'll let you join our group. Goku tried to crawl towards Raditz, still not able to get back to his feet due to the intense pain in his stomach. Raditz grinned with malice. Naturally, if the corpses aren't here, then your son will die. The Saiyan hero suddenly grabbed Raditz's foot while having his front body sprawled on the sand below him. Looking up at his older brother, Goku stammered with a groan, "Give my son back." Raditz simply ignored him and said, "Do you get it now, Kakarot? No matter how much you struggle, your only choice is to join forces with us. Give me back my son." Goku demanded between groans, still clenching Raditz's foot tightly. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sasuke had just managed to crawl themselves back on land. Luckily, the Kai blast from earlier wasn't able to affect them much due to the seawater absorbing most of it. However, the ninjas did not even know what hit them in the first place after they were thrown into the sea. Both of them had managed to hear some of what Raditz had said from earlier. Naruto staggered back to his feet and growled. That bastard, how could he try and make Goku do such a thing? Sasuke got back to his feet slowly as well, a shiver running down his spine. This guy, he's strong, freakishly strong. Raditz looked down at Goku with a smirk. I look forward to a good answer. For your sake as well, he then kicked Goku's hand from his foot. Don't even think of disobeying. And with that, he began to rise up into the air. With your undeveloped power level, don't even think about appeasing me. Father. Gohan flailed his arms around while crying. See you later. I'll be looking forward to tomorrow. Raditz said eagerly before ascending further into the air with an evil laugh. Goku got on his knees and hands and reached one of his hand out into the air. Gohan. Get back here, bastard. Naruto suddenly began running on the seawater with his chakra, surprising everyone except Sasuke, who had taken a tentative step forward. Wait, Naruto. However, Raditz was soon out of sight. His speed was incredible. Once the man was gone, Naruto stopped running on the seawater and cursed under his breath. After a brief moment, he looked up in the sky and cried, Gohan. Goku finally staggered back to his feet and with wobbly feet took a few steps forward. Gohan. Looking up at the sky before falling down on both his knees and hands, panting heavily. Naruto fell down onto his hands and knees as well onto the seawater. Of course, thanks to his chakra, his limbs never sunk in the water. Damn it, I couldn't save him. He's going to kill Gohan. No, I don't think he's going to kill Gohan, a voice said from behind. Naruto stood up on the surface of the water and turned around. Sasuke. Sasuke sighed, standing on the water with his chakra as well. You heard what Raditz said earlier, right? He will kill Gohan only if Goku didn't obey. Which means we have a chance to counterattack. Meanwhile, Bulma, Roshi, and Krillin rushed to Goku's aid. The scientist asked with a worried look on her face, are you alright, Goku? Roshi stammered, I'm sorry, there wasn't a single thing we could do to help. Goku looked at the sky and shouted, flying Nimbus. Within a few seconds, Nimbus was already in sight as it came flying towards Kame house. However, Krillin placed his hands on his best friend's shoulder as Roshi warned, wait, don't do anything rash. Don't do it. You'll be killed. Bulma said. Goku sat down on the shore. Damn it. What do I do? Hey, Goku, you alright? Naruto asked, joining the scene with Sasuke right behind him. Goku looked at Naruto and nodded. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks for trying to help me out there, however, he's too strong. After a few moments, everyone, including Naruto and Sasuke, helped Goku up before slowly making him sit on the mini stairway entrance of Kame house. Bulma then took a step back, placed her hands in her lab coat, and said, it must be a shock you find out you have a brother and he turns out to be like that. Your older brother is certainly strong. Krillin said with a serious look on his face. Naruto looked disappointed in himself. I'm sorry Goku, I wasn't able to save Gohan. Goku smiled for a moment at Naruto. It's okay, you both did your best, he gazed the dropped onto the ground. It's his tail. Everyone got confused for a moment as Goku looked back up at the group and said, if I grab his tail and clench it tightly, he should get weaker standing up from his current position. That was how it was with me. So that's the Saiyan's weakness? Sasuke wondered. Naruto displayed a serious look on his face. So, we just grab his tail, then? It's impossible for you people. A voice said. Everyone, including Naruto and Sasuke, got confused, trying to locate the source of the voice, before they all looked up in the air and noticed a green man staring down at them with folded arms. Piccolo. Goku was shocked. Who's that? Naruto wondered. Who's that? Naruto stared at Piccolo in shock. That's Piccolo. He tried to take over the world a few years ago. Roshi said anxiously. Take over the world? Said a perplexed Naruto. Sasuke widened his eyes in shock. What? Another threat? He began to wonder whether Piccolo was siding with Raditz or something. Piccolo descended onto the ground and walked past Goku. While in the process of walking by, he said, "You should realize by now how extraordinary his strength is. He's not an opponent that either of us can defeat." He stopped somewhere around 6 feet behind Goku while having his back facing his rivals. "However, if you and I join forces, there is a small chance of us beating him." "So, you're not an enemy?" Naruto asked. Goku displayed a serious look on his face and said with his back still facing his rival, "What made you so friendly all of a sudden?" Piccolo scoffed. "Don't take it the wrong way. I'm not after peace or anything, and I couldn't care less about your son." He plastered his face with a scowl and continued, "He's just in the way of my plans for world domination." Bulma freaked out and scurried behind the Roshi's turtle, hiding behind it. The turtle, realizing he was being used almost as a shield, freaked out as well. "First, I will team up with you and deal with this guy and his 2 comrades. Naturally, after that, I will finally crush you," Piccolo declared with a smirk on his face while raising his fist at the level of his right chest. "After that, I will have the world in my grasp." "I won't let you do that," Goku stated. Piccolo looked towards the left corner of his eyes as Goku continued, "I won't let you do that, but the part where we team up is a good idea." He then glanced behind his shoulder at his rival and smiled confidently. "There doesn't seem to be any other choice." Piccolo turned around to face Goku. "That's right. We'll have to bear with it for now." Goku turned around to face Piccolo as well, as the latter stated, "Teaming up with you does make me want to vomit." Goku displayed a serious look on his face. "Before we head towards that guy, I would like to bring Naruto and Sasuke with me." The ninjas were surprised after hearing Goku's words. Piccolo folded his arms and narrowed his eyes at the Saiyan. "Those 2 brats. Why them? They will only get in the way." Goku smirked confidently. "I think you shouldn't underestimate them. After all, they have a great deal of power within them. If they know how to use that power, they can be incredibly strong and useful in battle." Piccolo stared at Naruto and Sasuke for a moment before returning his sights on Goku. "Very well. But I couldn't care less if these brats get killed." Naruto took a few steps forward and clenched his fist. "I will protect and bring back Gohan, no matter what." Piccolo smirked. "Well, tough talk from a kid like you. I saw the techniques both you and your friend used earlier. You were watching us?" Piccolo unfolded his arms. "More or less. I had to figure out who that Saiyan bastard was in the first place. Alright, I have a plan for you too. You kids will stay back and watch the battle." "What? But we need to team up in order to save Gohan," Naruto protested. "I wasn't done talking. You and Sasuke will be watching from the sidelines while me and Goku fight Raditz. If any of you see an opportunity, grab his tail and Goku or I will finish him off." Sasuke smirked. "So that's the plan, huh?" Naruto grinned with confidence and smashed his fist into his palm in front of his chest. "Sounds like a plan. Let's go and kick his ass." Goku looked at Bulma and extended a hand out. "Bulma, lend me the dragon radar." Bulma slowly emerged from behind the turtle and nodded in confusion. "Yes. Dragon radar?" Naruto was baffled. Bulma tossed the radar towards Goku, the Saiyan catching it easily in his hand. Nimbus moved near the seashore as Goku looked at Naruto and explained, "Remember how I told you Dragon Balls exist? Well, this device is called a dragon radar. It can track the location of the Dragon Balls. Gohan had a Dragon Ball attached on his hat, so we should be able to track him that way." Naruto's eyes lit up. "Good thinking." Goku hopped onto the cloud and glanced behind his shoulder at Naruto. "Hey, Naruto, hop onto my back. I'll have to carry you till we reach Raditz." Naruto nodded and jumped into the air before wrapping himself behind Goku's back. The Saiyan then looked at Piccolo. "If you don't mind, can you carry Sasuke on your back as well?" Piccolo sighed. "Don't be ridiculous." The green man faced his hand toward Sasuke and used his telekinesis to carry Sasuke by just using his mind. Sasuke found himself floating in the air and said, "What the?" "Relax. I am only using my powers to carry you. We'll be heading towards Raditz. You better be prepared," Piccolo assured. Goku then looked at Piccolo and asked, "Can you keep up with the speed of flying Nimbus?" Piccolo looked up at Goku and said with a smirk, "Don't be a fool. My method of flying isn't inferior to yours. Let's go and save Gohan," Naruto declared. And with that, Goku, Naruto, Sasuke, and Piccolo ascended into the air before shooting towards their destination marked on the dragon radar. With Raditz and Gohan the same crash spot where Raditz first arrived. Gohan was hiding underneath a late farmer's beaten-up, blue pickup truck near the wheel of it while whimpering, "Father, I'm scared." Raditz approached the truck and saw Gohan hiding underneath it. He punched the engine of the truck and carried it with one hand, exposing Gohan in plain sight. As Raditz raised the truck high up, hay began to fall from the back of it. So what? My daddy can do that too. Gohan said. Raditz opened his palm and fired a Kai blast, completely eradicating the truck in the process, leaving nothing but smoke. This caused Gohan to widen his eyes in shock and cry some more. Raditz scowled and snapped, "Will you shut up? How long are you going to keep crying?" But to no avail as Gohan continued to cry. Raditz gritted his teeth in anger and picked up the boy by his collar. "You carry the valiant blood of the Saiyans too." He then walked over to the edge of the crater before sliding down towards his space pod. Once he got close to it, he chucked Gohan into the pod and closed the door of it before the half-Saiyan could escape. That should keep him quiet. Gohan kept thumping at the door, begging Raditz to let him out. However, his uncle ignored him and began to walk up the crater. Once Raditz reached the edge of the crater, he said to himself, "Now I should find myself something to eat." Suddenly, his scouter beeped for some reason. "Strange, my scouter is giving me a warning signal," as he pressed the button on his device. The scouter immediately began to track the source of the potential danger. Power level 710. And it's close. Raditz kept looking around until the scouter locked onto something behind him. The Saiyan warrior quickly spun around and stared at the space pod as the device on his eye indicated that the warning signal was coming from the pod. "What?" Raditz exclaimed, shocked. However, his shock quickly turned to relief when the signal suddenly disappeared. "Damn, so my scouter is malfunctioning, huh? Don't scare me like that with that." He turned around and began to look around for food. Goku and Piccolo soared through the air, with the green man using his telekinesis to carry Sasuke with him, while Naruto was simply locked onto Goku's back, with his arms and legs wrapped around, so that he wouldn't fall onto the ground. The Saiyan hero looked at his dragon radar and informed, "We're almost there." With Goku, Naruto, Sasuke, and Piccolo. "What's the plan, Goku?" Sasuke asked. "We sneak on him, attack from his blind spot," Naruto declared. "No, that won't work," Piccolo said. "Huh? What do you mean?" Goku asked. "He has a strange device on his left eye that can tell an enemy's location and power level. That's how he found you and me in the first place," Piccolo explained. "You mean, even the fact that we're closing on him?" Goku asked. "I'm afraid so." "Then how are we supposed to attack him?" Naruto asked. "Like I said, you both will only observe his movements and grab his tail at the right moment while we both fight him." "Alright. Then we attack him head-on," Goku declared, and with that, both rivals increased their speed and skyrocketed towards their destination. But Raditz, the Saiyan warrior, is currently having a feast on a dead wolf. Raditz was currently eating a dead wolf as he ripped the flesh from its body and began to eat it. His feast was interrupted by his scouter when it once again indicated a dangerous signal. Raditz sighed in exasperation and stared at the space pod. "My scouter is indicating again, power level 710 coming from my pod." "Sure enough, it's malfunctioning," Raditz groaned. Suddenly, the scouter gave another warning signal, this time indicating that there were 4 power levels approaching him. He stared towards the direction of the signal and thought to himself, "My scouter is indicating that there are 4 power levels heading my way. Power levels of 322, 334, 56, and 56. One of them is the same as Kakarot's. But he knows that he has almost 0 chances of winning against me. Plus, he doesn't know where I am in the first place. I'm done with this thing. It's completely busted." Raditz growled and walked away. The scouter beeped one last time, and this time, Raditz turned around and said in shock, "It can't be. They're here." Raditz glanced behind his shoulder at the pod Gohan was in shock and thought, "Then it's not a malfunction, no, it has to be a mistake. There's no way a kid like him could have a power level of 710. It was no sooner than he said that than Goku and the others arrived as the Forgotten Saiyan jumped from Nimbus and performed a series of acrobatics along, whereas when Naruto jumped, he tripped and fell face first on the ground. Piccolo and Sasuke easily landed on the ground while Goku asked, "Naruto, are you okay?" Naruto jumped back to his feet and rubbed his stinging nose. "Yo. That hurts." "Idiot," Sasuke thought, referring to Naruto before staring at his opponent. And so, Goku, Piccolo, and Sasuke had a stare down, while Naruto just shifted into his battle stance and yelled, "Give Gohan back." Goku, Piccolo, Naruto, and Sasuke vs Raditz. Goku and the others were currently having a stare down with Raditz as the Saiyan warrior bounced a fruit from his hand and said, "So, you've brought the green man and the 2 brats with you too, huh? How did you know about this place?" "Like as if I'm gonna tell ya," Goku retorted. Raditz smirked. "Fair enough. I'll ask you a different question then. What the hell have you come here for?" "It's obvious, isn't it? We've come to take my son back," Goku declared. "Yeah," Naruto agreed. Meanwhile, Gohan was crying in the space pod when he suddenly heard his father's voice. Looking through the window, he saw Goku, Naruto, Sasuke, and Piccolo facing Raditz. He smiled happily and cried, "Daddy." "Goku." Naruto and Sasuke. So that means Raditz began. Even though you're a Saiyan like us, you don't want to join our group? That's what I said. Goku shouted. You intend to defy your older brother? Raditz asked curiously. I ain't got any brothers. Raditz clenched the fruit in his hand tightly but still maintained his smirk. Kakarot, I thought you were more sharp-witted than this. To think that you'd be as foolish as this disappoints me. If you won't give Gohan back, then we'll kick your ass. Naruto yelled with his fist clenched. Ha! Raditz coughed. No matter how much trash fights against me, they will fall in the end. Even the four of you are of no match to me. And took a bite of the fruit. Naruto chuckled and smirked with confidence. Well, the four of us can beat you with our plan. Raditz laughed at this and said, ha 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 ha. You must be delusional if you think all the four of you can defeat an elite Saiyan warrior. I've had enough of your family squabble. Piccolo said as he took of his weighted cape and threw it away behind him on the ground. Sasuke stared at Piccolo and wondered, what is he doing? Piccolo, why are you undressing? Naruto asked. I'm not, you idiot. Well, kind of. But that's not the point. Piccolo growled as he stretched his arms and neck. Goku stared at Piccolo in surprise and asked, Piccolo, you use weighted clothing too? Yeah, just like you. Piccolo answered as he threw his weighted turban on the ground next to him. Weighted clothing? Like Rock Lee? Sasuke thought. He reminds me of bushy brows. Naruto thought as he stared at the weighted clothing curiously. Piccolo groaned and massaged his neck a little. It's been a long time since I felt this light. What's this? His power level has gone up to 408. Raditz thought as he read the reading of the scouter. I see. So, you've been training yourself intensely too, huh? As Goku took off his shirt and his weighted. Naruto stared at Goku in surprise and said, Goku. I never knew you used weighted clothing. Goku chuckled at that as he took off his weighted boots. Being able to fight together for the time being as allies is really encouraging. Right, Naruto. Naruto grinned like a fox and cheered exuberantly. Yeah. Raditz's scouter beeped, indicating that Goku's power increased as well. The Forgotten Saiyan stretched his arms and legs before saying, maybe now we can fight better. The carrot is now at 416, Raditz thought. Raditz threw the fruit in hand away and began to laugh menacingly. You think you've gotten all stronger by just doing that? What? Goku, Piccolo, and Naruto said in collective shock. Raditz coughed and folded his arms. Don't make me laugh. To think that you would come here with that kind of power level is ridiculous. This is what they mean when they say you don't know your place. Thus being stronger in a fight isn't everything. We've got ourselves a strategy. Goku proclaimed. There is something I don't get, Naruto said. Raditz turned his attention towards Naruto. Naruto glared at Raditz and asked, I don't get it. You say that the Saiyans scour around the universe in search of inhabitants of planets to liquidate. Well, why use your power like that? Why the hell not use your power to protect the universe rather than killing innocent people for no reason whatsoever? Raditz widened his eyes at first, but then stared at Naruto in amusement. Ho. You don't understand, Whiskers. You see, as I've mentioned before, by killing innocent people, we get profit. It's like a business after all. Plus, we would like to be rulers of the universe as we are the strongest race ever known. Naruto widened his eyes in shock and exclaimed, you should be using your powers to protect the people of the universe. Shut it, blonde. We Saiyans know better than anyone what's best for us. So, no need to interfere in our family matters. Raditz retorted. Why you? Naruto yelled as he crossed his fingers like a plus sign in front of his chest and shouted, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Sasuke reached an arm out to Naruto and yelled, Naruto. Wait. Have you forgotten about the plan? You're not supposed to attack. But Naruto did not listen anyway, as he created 10 clones in a puff of smoke, shocking Raditz in the process. The Saiyan warrior had never seen a technique like that before. What? Piccolo growled. That idiot. Did he completely forget about the plan? Goku stared at the clone's eye surprise and wondered, isn't that technique like Tien Shishin no Ken? No, it's not. Can't you sense it? Each of the clones have their own individual Kai. Piccolo explained. Oh yeah, you're right. Goku noticed. Naruto's clones quickly made their move as they charged towards Raditz with the intent to beat him up to a pulp. The Saiyan warrior quickly shook himself from his stupor and smirked. Bring it on. 3 of Naruto's clones headed straight towards Raditz to deliver a ferocious punch. However, Raditz quickly dashed forward and elbowed the first clone in the gut, knee smashed the second in the gut, and delivered a crushing axe handle, dispelling all the 3 clones in a puff of smoke. What? Raditz was pretty surprised after he saw the clones suddenly disappear in a puff of smoke. What kind of technique is this? He wondered. Raditz felt someone behind him and quickly turned around, only to see that 3 fists of the other Naruto clones were inches away from his face. However, he could see the attacks easily and ducked to dodge it before firing a Kai blast to completely wipe out the clones. And finally, the other 3 clones surrounded him. However, the Saiyan warrior once again wiped them out with ease by delivering a roundhouse kick. The other 3 clones charged at the Saiyan warrior, but of course, Raditz was able to take them out easily with his incredible speed and strength. After defeating the clones, Raditz smirked and scoffed, "Heh. Is that all you got? Pathetic." Sasuke widened his eyes in shock as he had his Sharingan activated and thought, what the hell? I couldn't even see what he just now did. It was like as if the clones just disappeared all of the sudden. What speed? Rasengan. A voice suddenly shouted as Raditz turned behind and exclaimed, "What?" The Saiyan warriors suddenly realized that he had defeated all the clones and that was the real Naruto who was charging towards him from behind. Raditz smirked as the blonde's Rasengan was about to hit him when he suddenly shot his fist forward and impaled Naruto's chest, causing him to cough out blood. "Naruto!" Goku cried. Piccolo smirked and assured, "Don't worry, the kid's fine." Goku gritted his teeth and glared at Piccolo. "What do you mean? Raditz just killed him." Piccolo scoffed. "Calm down. Just watch, haven't you noticed it yet?" Goku said, baffled. Suddenly, Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke, much to Raditz's chagrin. What? Realization dawned on Raditz's face as he quickly realized something. Wait, if my memory serves me right, there were 10 clones, and I had just now killed the 10th clone, which means I'm over here. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A voice shouted. All of a sudden, a bunch of Naruto clones surrounded Raditz and grabbed his legs and arms, making sure that he would not escape. "What are you doing?" Raditz demanded. He looked up in the air and saw Naruto with his Rasengan heading straight towards him. This is the end. Rasengan. Unfortunately for Naruto, Raditz saw the attack coming and quickly shook off the clones that were grabbing him and dispelled them. Turning his attention towards the real Naruto and delivered a spinning kick onto Naruto's face before the Rasengan could come in contact with his chest, sending the blonde flying away. Luckily Goku caught Naruto before he could be sent flying any further. "Naruto. Are you okay?" Goku asked, worried. Naruto had blood on his mouth as he groaned in pain. Raditz laughed and chuckled. "You're lucky I was holding back when I hit you there." "Damn that idiot." Sasuke growled. Piccolo said, however, "The brat let us know how his movements work, even if it's for a brief moment." "Sasuke, don't repeat the same mistake as Naruto and stay back." Sasuke nodded and did as he was told. "Damn it, too fast." Naruto said weakly as Goku helped him stand up. Goku asked, "Can you fight, Naruto?" Naruto nodded and wiped the blood from his mouth. "Yay." Naruto couldn't believe that Raditz was so fast and strong. He had never faced an opponent like him before. But no matter how strong the opponent was, he would still never give up. After all, there's no way he was going to die before he becomes Hokage. Plus, he had to protect everyone that was dear to him. "We'll take it from here now onwards, you and Sasuke will find an opportunity to grab Raditz's tail," Goku instructed. Naruto nodded. Right, and with that, he jumped back along with Sasuke so that both of the ninjas could find an opening to grab his tail. Raditz scoffed. "What are all of you whispering about? Aren't you going to join me, Kakarot?" Goku turned his attention back at Raditz and yelled, "Never." Raditz closed his eyes for a moment before reopening them and stating, "Kakarot, I've decided not to let you join our group any longer," as he displayed a devilish grin. "It appears you'd only slow us down, anyhow. You're a disgrace to the Saiyan race. Die." Raditz shouted with a scowl on his face and charged towards Goku and Piccolo as the two warriors shifted into their respective battle stances. However, Raditz easily managed to appear behind them in an instant with his incredible speed and elbow smashed both fighters onto their backs, knocking them a few feet away. While in mid-air, Goku and Piccolo quickly regained their balance and landed on the ground safely before staring at Raditz in shock. "So fast," Goku thought. "He came at us head-on. For him to get behind us in one moment," Piccolo thought. Raditz smirked in amusement and commented, "Ho. Your defense at least seems to be pretty strong. However, your deaths are only a matter of time," as he stared at Naruto and Sasuke, chuckling. "Little by little, I'm going to increase the strength of my attacks." Piccolo thought, to think that the difference between our levels would be this great. "Somehow, I have to grab his tail and make his power drop," Goku thought. "The only way we can beat that bastard is if we can get an opportunity to grab his tail," Naruto thought. "Damn, my Sharingan is of no use. I can't track his movements at all. I'll have to let Goku and Piccolo do the fighting until me or Naruto find an opportunity to grab his tail," Sasuke thought. "It's hopeless. No matter what strategy you've come up with, there's no way you can beat me," Raditz declared with his trademark smirk. He suddenly got an idea and decided to reveal, "I know, why don't I let you in on something good before you die?" He laughed a little and continued, the other two Saiyans besides me who are still alive have an even higher power level than I do. What? The fighters said in collective shock. So even if Raditz is defeated, there are still even more powerful warriors. Is there anything Goku, Piccolo, Naruto, and Sasuke can do? Damn it. There are still two other powerful Saiyans you say, what's going on? Piccolo cursed. Raditz laughed. It's too late now even if you do realize how terrifying we Saiyans can be. Goku chuckled and admitted, you've got us there. I wish we hadn't heard that. The intensity in the atmosphere began to increase. However, the number one hyperactive knucklehead ninja yelled, I don't care what you think. We're gonna beat you no matter what, Dadabeo. Raditz glanced at Naruto and smirked. Oh really? Well then, I'll start with you first. Sasuke gritted his teeth and scowled. Naruto, you idiot. Hold. We are your opponents. Goku shouted. Piccolo scoffed. You must be really excited to fight a strong opponent like him, eh Son Goku? Goku chuckled nervously and admitted, sorry but not this time. I'm really scared and my body is trembling. There's only one thing. The fools that defy me heeding the warnings I so graciously offer, get death in return. And of course, you should be scared. However, that terror will turn into hopelessness soon. Damn it. This guy is just too peepee. Sasuke noted. Naruto suddenly remembered something and demanded, where's Gohan in the first place? What did you do to him? He feared that Raditz had already killed him since he was nowhere in sight. Yeah, where have you hidden him? Goku shouted. I haven't hidden him. I just locked him up in my space pod because he was bawling so loudly. There a crater behind you, right? He's in there. Raditz confessed. And sure enough, Goku glanced behind his shoulder and saw a crater behind him. To get a better view of it, he ran over to the edge of it and peered down in the middle, seeing a space pod. He could see Gohan crying inside through the window of the pod. Ascending into the air with his Bukijutsu, he said to himself, so he's in there, huh? Gohan. Father. Save me. Gohan cried from inside the pod. Hold on, Gohan. Daddy's going to rescue you right away. Goku cried. Raditz laughed while looking up at Goku who was in the air and mocked, don't be ridiculous. There's no way you can save him. Not if you guys die first. Goku turned his attention back at Raditz and gritted his teeth in anger. Meanwhile, Raditz's back was facing Naruto and Sasuke, exposing his tail. Naruto saw the Saiyan warrior's tail and whispered to Sasuke. Sasuke, I think this is a good opportunity to grab his tail now. Sasuke nodded in agreement and whispered back, yeah, on the count of 3, let's grab his tail. Okay. Naruto agreed and crouched a little. One Sasuke counted when he was suddenly interrupted by Piccolo who secretly gestured both ninjas to not act at this moment. It was probably because it was right now not a good opportunity to grab Raditz's tail, as he may suddenly turn around and see Naruto and Sasuke trying to grab his tail. If Goku's brother were to come to know that they were after his tail, then he would be more cautious and that would make this all the more difficult. Plus, his tail was wrapped around his waist, so it would be even harder to grab it anyway. Sasuke, understanding the cues Piccolo was giving out, nodded in understanding and gestured Naruto to halt for now as well. Huh? Why? Naruto questioned in annoyance. Not now, Naruto, I'll let you know when, Sasuke informed. Goku descended on the ground and faced Raditz once again, shifting back to his battle stance and declared, alright. Let's do this. Piccolo shifted back to his battle stance as well and chimed in, that's all we can do. Raditz folded his arms and turned towards Goku and Piccolo. Fine then, for a short moment, he glanced behind his shoulder at Naruto and Sasuke and warned them, once I'm done with Kakarot and the Green Man, I will come after you both, before finally fixing his attention back at his two opponents. After a short stare down, Goku and Piccolo yelled a cry of battle before charging forward to fight Raditz once again. The Saiyan warrior stood still in the place since he was ready to take on their attacks head-on. With incredible speed, Goku and Piccolo ran towards Raditz and began to throw a series of punches and kicks. However, the Saiyan warrior was actually dodging and blocking every attacks they were delivering. Naruto and Sasuke watched the battle unfold in shock and the Uchiha commented in awe, so fast. The difference between us and Goku, Piccolo and Raditz is incomparable. I can't even see what's going on. Go Goku and Piccolo. Kick Raditz's ass. Naruto cheered. Goku suddenly delivered a flying kick onto Raditz's face. However, the Saiyan warrior sidestepped to dodge the attack as his younger brother went past him. Piccolo still continued to deliver his series of punches and kicks when he suddenly disappeared from Raditz's sight. Both fighters suddenly appeared behind Raditz, thinking that they had caught him by surprise and were about to deliver their blows when the Saiyan warrior suddenly jumped a little in the air and kicked both Goku and Piccolo in the face with each of his legs, sending them hurtling away from him. However, Goku and Piccolo quickly regained their balance in midair and landed nimbly on the ground before once again dashing towards the evil Saiyan and delivering a punch. Raditz saw the attack coming and jumped up in the air. Goku and Piccolo looked up in the air and Raditz and immediately followed suit. Raditz smirked and raised both his hands up before shouting, "Double Sunday." Firing 2 Kai blasts from both hands respectively right at Goku and Piccolo. Goku managed to dodge the Kai blast in the nick of time. However, Piccolo wasn't so lucky. He dodged the attack to some extent, but the Kai blast grazed his hand and completely obliterated it. After Goku and Piccolo barely dodged the attacks, the Kai blasts went their separate ways and hit a faraway mountain that was located near the battlefield, completely eradicating it. Kaboom! What the hell? Sasuke exclaimed. Impossible, Naruto stammered as he just witnessed Raditz destroy freaking 2 mountains. At that time, Naruto and Sasuke knew they were of no match to Raditz's great power. What monstrous power? Sasuke trembled in fear. Naruto gritted his teeth in anger and cursed, "Damn it." Goku landed on the ground after barely dodging the Kai blast and looked around his surroundings in search of Raditz but couldn't find him. "Where are you?" "I'm here," Raditz said as he just appeared behind Goku and delivered a ferocious kick onto Goku's back, sending him spiraling away before hitting the dirt hard. Meanwhile, Piccolo landed next to Goku and Sasuke noticed that something was wrong with the demon. Raditz laughed menacingly and said, "This isn't even worth wasting my breath on." Goku tried to get back on his feet but was only able to stagger back to his knees. He looked left and asked, "Damn, are you okay, Piccolo?" "Piccolo's arm is." Naruto noticed. That's when Goku noticed that Piccolo was missing an arm. It was probably when Raditz fired that Kai blast of his. A pool of blood was coming out of Piccolo's missing arm, but the demon waved it off and assured, "Relax, I can still manage to fight him with only one arm." Raditz laughed evilly and said in amusement, "It looks like your deaths are finally drawing near, huh? Sasuke. We should grab his tail soon," Naruto urged. Sasuke gritted his teeth and thought to himself, "Damn it. I've never faced an opponent this strong. And he doesn't have any openings yet before we can grab his tail." "What's the matter? Are you finished already?" Raditz mocked. "Where did all that gutsu you had earlier go?" Naruto and Sasuke jumped over Raditz and landed next to Goku and Piccolo. The Avenger decided to ask, "So what's the plan now? We couldn't find any opening." Piccolo thought for a moment before asking, "Son Goku, Naruto, Sasuke, you have any new reserve techniques?" Goku chuckled sheepishly and admitted, "Can't say I do, sheesh, ease up, will you? And what about you, Naruto, Sasuke?" "I got a few techniques I haven't tried out yet. But they'll only probably be good for distracting Raditz," Sasuke responded. "I have a technique in reserve," Naruto proclaimed. "Is that technique strong enough to take down Raditz?" Piccolo asked. Naruto shook his head, folded his arms and responded, "Nope. However, it will make him weak on his knees," and grinned like a fox while chuckling mischievously. "What? Naruto has a technique that he has been hiding up till now. How? Did Jiraiya teach him that technique?" Sasuke wondered. "Alright then," Piccolo decided. "I've been developing training seriously, developing a new technique." "What are you for whispering about?" Raditz questioned. "Whatever strategy you devise, it won't work. It'd just be easier on you if you just keel over right away." "For real? You've got yourself a new technique up your sleeve?" Goku asked in surprise while his eyes were still fixed on his opponent. "Yeah," Piccolo responded. "Will you be able to do it with only one arm?" Goku asked. "Yeah. That part is okay. But this technique takes quite a bit of time in order to build up enough Kai. So we have to draw his attention till you're ready to use your new technique?" Sasuke asked. "Exactly," Piccolo responded. "Got it," Goku said and glanced at Piccolo. "But will this technique work?" "Probably. If this technique doesn't work, then we won't be able to win." Raditz noticed the group were still devising their strategy and decided to wait for them to finish before fighting against him with their full potential. After all, he didn't want a boring fight. Piccolo growled in annoyance. "Tch. I was saving this in order to kill you. And in the end, you might use to save me instead, huh?" Goku said. Piccolo scoffed. "If I'm able to defeat him with this, then you'll be next." Goku laughed a little. "Is that so?" Piccolo scoffed. "This is no time to be laughing, you know." "They're laughing so, they're changing their posture, are they?" Raditz thought. Piccolo glanced at Naruto and instructed, "Alright, brat, I want you to go ahead and use your technique against Raditz." That's when Goku will go ahead and grab his tail. Naruto chuckled mischievously and said Roger. Goku smirked. "Alright. I'm looking forward to this. Now then, let's see about keeping him in check. Hang in there as best as you can," Piccolo advised. "Alright. Now go Naruto." "Alright, Dadabeo. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." Naruto cheered and made a plus sign, creating a bunch of clones in a puff of smoke. Raditz smirked and thought, so, you've finally resigned yourself. Wait a second, that's your reserve technique? But you've already used it before. Sasuke pointed out. Heh. Just watch. Naruto smirked with determination as the clones charged towards Raditz. Raditz looked at the bunch of clones that were heading his way and scoffed, heh. That same technique won't work on me. The real Naruto commanded, now. Time to release my reserve technique. Transform. The clones jumped towards Raditz and yelled in unison, Warik no Jutsu. All of the clones suddenly transformed into a bunch of naked blonde women in a puff of smoke as they suddenly hugged Raditz and tried to seduce him, Raditz-kun. What do you think about my sexy body? As they whispered seductively in his ear. Some of them were actually caressing the Saiyan warrior's chest. Aren't you a handsome hun? For a second, Raditz was actually shocked. But he quickly regained his composure and wiped all the clones out with an explosive wave. He blushed a little and commented, that was by far the worst technique I've ever seen. You vulgar brat. That was your reserve technique? Sasuke thought, facepalming. Naruto. What was that about? Goku wondered. What an idiot. Piccolo growled. Goku. Attack him now. Naruto signaled. Goku got the hint and quickly charged at Raditz. Before the Saiyan warrior could shake his stupor off, the forgotten Saiyan actually managed to land a punch on him. What? Raditz shouted as he just received the blow. However, he quickly shook his stupor off and began to fend off Goku's combination of punches and kicks. You caught me there by surprise and retaliated by delivering a combination of punches and kicks of his own, overpowering Goku. Meanwhile, Piccolo kept his index and middle finger on his forehead. Special beam cannon. Raditz delivered a spinning kick and sent his younger brother spiraling away from his as the forgotten Saiyan hit the dirt hard but jumped high in the air soon after and cupped his hands to his side. TCH. You're a persistent one. Raditz commented in annoyance, looking at Goku. Kame Goku chanted. I am possible. The scouter attached to Raditz's eye indicated that Goku's power level was rising. His power level is rising 924-925. Ha! He's able to concentrate his power level into one point and raise it up, Raditz concluded. Me? Raditz's scouter beeped once again, this time indicating another signal coming from behind. He turned around and saw Piccolo, who was concentrating all of his Kai into his fingertips on his forehead. Sparks of electricity began to emit on his fingertips and Raditz stammered, this one's power level is now 1020. Unbelievable. It's still going up. Ha! Goku shouted and launched the Kamehameha wave towards Raditz, catching his attention. The Saiyan warrior had to dodge the attack by running away from his current spot. However, Goku moves his cupped hands a little to the left and directed the Kamehameha to follow Raditz. The evil Saiyan glanced behind his shoulder while running and saw the Kamehameha wave behind him. Damn it. All of a sudden, something grabbed onto Raditz. He looked at what had grabbed him and realized that it was actually Naruto's clones. A bunch of his clones had latched onto Raditz, so ensure that he would take the Kamehameha head on. Why you? Raditz slung one of the clones over his arm and slammed it onto the ground, dispelling it. As for the other clones, he simply used an explosive wave to finish the rest. By the time he was done with the clones, he was too late as the Kamehameha wave had already hit him head on. Kaboom. This kicked up a lot of dust. At first Goku thought that he had defeated him thanks to Naruto's help. But once the smoke cleared, it was revealed that Raditz was still alive. However, he had taken a lot of damage and his body was trembling from the Kamehameha he had just received. Damn you. Goku stared at Raditz in shock. What kind of guy is this? Raditz smirked and spread his left arm to his side. This time, I'll present you with one. As he charged a Kai blast in the palm of his hand and fired it towards Goku. The attack hit him head on before he could react and plummeted down onto the ground, crashing. Goku? Naruto cried. Hang in there, Son Goku. My technique is almost done, Piccolo mumbled. Raditz suddenly disappeared and reappeared in front of the fallen Goku, grabbing his collar and raising his fist up. This ends here. Raditz's scouter beeped once again and his eyes followed the source of the signal until he found Piccolo laughing maniacally at him with his new technique ready. You're going to be the one who dies. Piccolo grinned devilishly. Power level 1330, all of his power level is gathered in his fingertips. Raditz said incredulously. Damn it. These guys can manipulate their power level at will. Sasuke stared at Piccolo's sparkling fingertips with his Sharingan and thought, what an amazing technique. I've never seen a technique this powerful. Piccolo yelled, try taking this on. Special beam cannon. And thrust his fingertips forward, firing a spiraling beam towards Raditz at an incredible speed. The attack hit Raditz head on, creating a massive explosion and also destroyed a faraway mountain in the process. Kaboom. The explosion created a blinding light that forced Piccolo, Goku, Naruto, and Sasuke to shield their eyes. This kicked up a lot of dust. Once the blinding light and smoke receded, Piccolo could see that Raditz was still alive. However, the evil Saiyan's shoulder had a gash and his shoulder pad was broken. Apparently Raditz did dodge the attack, but barely. "How the funk is that bastard still alive?" Sasuke exclaimed. "Even with a power technique like that, he is still alive," Naruto said incredulously. "He avoided it. What kind of bastard is he, with such speed?" Piccolo stammered. Raditz pointed at the gash on his shoulder and his broken shoulder pad and acknowledged, "You pierced through this armor quite easily. That's quite a technique. If I had taken that head on, I would have been out." "That doesn't mean anything if I don't hit you," Piccolo retorted. "To think that you would inflict injury on me. You're going to pay for this. I'm through playing around," Raditz declared. "We've had it now," Piccolo said hopelessly. "So this part ends here. Alright, that's it for today's video guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Bye bye.